So, good evening, guys. Good evening. Welcome back to the TG podcast. Of course, we are here. We've got a lot to discuss, as always, talking everything Arsenal. We're back with a regular three. Myself, Rory, and Dom. Um, Rory, how's your cheers? Win the dog in the back for fucking barking. Anyway, Rory, how's your week been, man? How you been, bro?
Yeah, it's not been too bad actually. Just sucks I'm on the phone again, innit? Because Restream is a pile of horseshit. But yeah, apart from that, I'm good.
There we go. There we go. Dom, I want to start by saying congratulations for the win tonight, my friend, my baller. If we would like to tell everyone how you got on tonight and your amazing header as well from the halfway line, please.
Yeah, 2-0 win. We got to have gone second because first v second tonight, so we got to have moved up after that. I'm 5 foot tall, and I won a header on the halfway line, and Blam nearly scored. It bounced just wide of the post. So if anyone wonders, I'm playing number 9 next season for Arsenal. All right.
we need him, man. We need this guy. Listen, this guy, Dom, right? This guy's been unbeaten for about how many weeks now, bruv?
We've not lost for a while. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
exactly, mate. My baller. Look, he can play everywhere. He can play centre back, midfield, striker.
Oh no, mate, no, mate. I can play centre back. That's it. I had my 3 pancakes tonight. I went forward 3 times.
Wait, so you're unbeaten?
No, we're not unbeaten. We're unbeaten in a while. We haven't lost in a long time. 8-9 games, something like that.
At the end of the season, is yours gold?
We'll come down to next week. I'll show Mikel how it's done. Yeah, we're all in our like 30s and 40s, and these guys are all young. And
but yeah, man, we got a lot to talk about today, guys. So make sure you get your likes, hit the likes, leave your thoughts down below. Let's start with some bad news, people, that we heard today. Another injury for Arsenal, and it is with, of course, Jurrien Timber. The guy obviously came back from ACL when we first bought him. I thought he had a great season this season as well. What is Restream doing? For fuck's sakes, what are you doing? Do you want to show our faces or not? Is it going to show our faces or?
I think we're there now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Oh, we're here. Amazing.
Hello.
Thank you, Restream.
To be fair, Josh, with me on here, they might have preferred it without. I've got a lovely tan line.
I think that I do have a dodgy arse trim, so I'll probably be not having my face on the screen. But
I think I'm ready for Jurrien Timber's shirt. Cool down.
But yeah, obviously Timber coming back from ACL injury for this season. I think he's done really well. Been one of our best players this season for sure. He's been very consistent as well. But it says he will undergo an ankle surgery after Arsenal medical staff decided on it to address his fitness issues. It remains unclear how long the player will be ruled out for. I think the only positive with this is that the season's over and we've got a whole summer now for him to have this operation, like this surgery. Hopefully he can, get some rest, and then his season starts again July time with the pre-season. August midway is where the obviously Premier League does start, and hopefully he'll be back for there. But
the other good news, Josh, is it's been described by various sources as quite minor operation.
There we go.
The operation is still an operation, but by all accounts, it's quite minor. Which is, fingers crossed it is, and he can relax on the beach soon.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, when we're looking into this, we've suffered really badly with injuries, as we know, this season. It's been a very, very surprising. I've been shocked. I'm sure we all have, in terms of how many injuries we've actually gotten with a whole squad. What do you put it down to? Because I think in my opinion, some of the injuries have been down to the squad depth and not having the right depth there, and players being overplayed. But then other areas, I just think it's a bit of luck, bit of unlucky. And I know Timbers had an injury before ACL, but it's obviously with his ankle. But I'll start at you, Dom. Is this one just a bit of very unlucky that he's picked up an injury? I know he's played a lot of football. Do you look deeper in is it the depth? Is it him being overplayed?
I think with Timber, I think obviously he's played a lot of football this season. He's coming off the ACL. I remember sort of explaining earlier in the season why I understood why Partey was used at right back, because he had to be protected coming off an ACL with Ben White out. I think I think when you look at the injury table, and I've just pulled it up now, this looks like it's going to be a record-breaking injury season across the Premier League. And I think, other sort of big sides across Europe are sort of reporting more injuries too. I don't know about the how accurate that other bit is, the second bit, but the first bit is right. And Arsenal topped the injury list. And I think when you look at it, I think there's several factors here. So I think one, you've just got too much football at the moment coming off the back of that World Cup. The first time in not World Cup, the Euros. It's the first time in 3 years has been a summer tournament like that. I think that has affected not just us. I think that's affected multiple teams. And I think Rodri was absolutely right when he said it in August. Ironically, right about 5-6 days before he did his ACL or whatever it was. But I think when you look at Arsenal specifically, I think there's the two things. I think you're absolutely right. There is that element of luck. I think it happened to Liverpool 2 years ago where they lost almost their entire defence and had to go and loan 2 players in for the Championship because they just had nothing left, and they fell to 5th that year. And I think it's just been one of those seasons where I do think you've got to look at it from an Arsenal perspective is twofold. One, and we said it in the summer, I felt the squad numbers were fine, but we had one too many defenders, one too few attackers. And secondly, there was the amount of football players like Saka, Rice, obviously some of that was at West Ham, and others have played in the last 2 or 3 years under Mikel. Now, I think some of that is I'm going to sort of cover both parts here. I think some of that is actually a sort of cost of doing business when you're sort of trying to get yourself from further down the league up the league. You want to play your best players all the time because you haven't got the squad depth. Saka's a bad example because I don't think we've ever really had a backup to him. But let's say Kieran Tierney gets injured. It was Nuno Tavares. That's a big old drop off, right? Whereas now we're getting to the point where Miles Lewis-Skelly gets injured, it's Calafiori that comes in. You're starting to get to more of that point. So I think some of that in those early years was Mikel didn't trust the squad at all. And I think he should have trusted the squad a little bit more, but you can understand why he didn't, because the pressure was on to get Champions League football, because Champions League football is important financially to help the squad go forward. But there were games where he could have rested players. We had the dead rubber against PSV. We had last 2 years, right? Visited Carabao Cup games where we could have rested some more players as well. But I think that you're probably looking at 10 or so games in the last couple of seasons where maybe you could have rested a few more, which is not massive. And I think this season has also been a snowball effect whereby you get a level of injuries and that puts the pressure on the others. Jurrien Timber has played more football. I think Mikel would have wanted him to this year because Ben White was out for 4 months. Tommy Asu was injured for the whole season. And that just put more players on the rest of the squad. So I think it's a snowball effect. I think there's some of the blame for Mikel Arteta in terms of overplaying, and I think that's true. But I also understand some of that overplaying. What I do think now we're in a position whereby we should have a reasonable recuperation period. I think it would be very active this summer. And therefore, I think if this goes on into next season, then Mikel Arteta still isn't rotating. Then I think you've got to be looking at the manager there. I think this is just the year it all caught up a little bit with them. But you can't do that 2 years running. You can have that one-off year. Klopp had it 2 years ago, didn't have it last year. Had he done so, I think he has to take responsibility. So I think it's a combination of factors, some of which Mikel has to take responsibility for, some of which I think I understand it, and some of it's just that awful luck. But it has been a factor, but not the only factor in why we haven't achieved what we wanted to achieve this season. And it puts the pressure on Arsenal next season, without doubt, massive pressure.
Yeah. No, very well said, man. I think you had to look at all them factors there into sort of this situation of Arsenal and the injuries this season as well. I think even was it with Havertz, Dom? He got injured from, was it pressing or something in Dubai training?
Yeah, he was injured in training. It was apparently a relatively high intensity session, and it went.
Yeah.
But I think
he was stretched for it, wasn't he?
Yeah, and I think that's
the
exactly, which can happen, right? But I think that's the other thing that Arsenal need to look at is that January window. I've always said I understood the summer window, but the January window, by that point, you had Havertz clearly exhausted. You had Jesus out by that point. Saka still out at that point. Sterling wasn't achieving anything for you. You've got other injuries as well. I can't think who was injured at that point. We had so many through the season. Is it something like only Neto is the only player now that hasn't missed a game through injury this season?
I think the Partey,
Partey's missed. I think Partey's missed one through injury.
Tierney, mate.
I don't actually know.
I'll check on Partey. You might be right. I thought Partey had one game.
Yeah, I don't remember it missing a single game.
I think he missed it through illness rather than injury.
Yeah, it might have been, but I can't.
But maybe Partey's the other one. But that it's ridiculous in a squad of 24, 25, where you're down to 2, right? Even Tommy Setford missed some through injury. But that January transfer window, as I say, funds were limited, but I can't believe we couldn't find a forward, you know, for the £50 million that we had available to spend. Right,
Yeah.
and that made Kai Havertz's injury inevitable. We all knew it was happening. Mikel Arteta knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
It's why he was calling constantly in almost every press conference for another forward, as were the players. So, you know, that's the type of thing where the club let Mikel down a little bit. But as I say, he has to take his fair responsibility as well. I've talked about all those reasons, and I think they are important. But the club also have to look at themselves as well in amongst all of that.
Yeah, no, definitely, bro. Rory, what do you think about, you know, another injury, this time Timber, you know, and what would you put it down to with all the injuries this season, man, as well?
I would put the blame on medical staff, but it's partly down to Mikel as well. It's a mixture of both. I reckon Arteta was to blame for the injuries around the Christmas period, so around December, January time, where Saka obviously got injured, Havertz, due to obviously overplaying the minute. And to a certain degree, Ødegaard, when he got injured, like there was an opportunity there to hopefully sway him away from international duty. We didn't do that. So, yeah, I reckon this one is more down to the medical staff, if any, because obviously Ben White, who has been playing with an injury for ages pretty much, he had to go into surgery, I believe, around November time. So he was missing at least 3 or 4 months of the season when the opportunity was there around, I would say, September time, where he could have gone into surgery and we could have got him back around January time, a lot earlier than expected. So we wouldn't have had to run Timber into the ground. Tomiyasu, I mean, don't think he started. Like, yes, we don't know who that is, but what's going on? Like, the guy was supposed to be back in December, and then lo and behold, in January, in that January-February period, he went into surgery. So now he's until, you know, next year. So to me, I reckon it's got to be pretty much everyone involved for not obviously strengthening, bulking up ward. It's also down to the medical staff as well, because like what on God's green earth are they doing with the injury count this season? I have I couldn't tell you, because it's honestly embarrassing how dealt with the injuries this season. We're taught that Saka wouldn't get surgery, and then he ended up getting surgery. The same with Havertz as well. So, don't understand. I mean, we were hearing, and I'm going off topic here, but Dembele had a hamstring injury for PSG, right? And then I know he didn't start, but he was in the squad. So surely this is something to do with the medical staff. It's just a one-off occurrence, right? Where we're having 7 variety of injury. That's just not normal. 7 surgeries one season. I mean, you've got to be. I know, like, look, surgeries are part of the game, right? Like, as a professional athlete, you are going to pick up these sort of injuries. But if it's once or twice, then you can let it go. However, 7, I mean, it's crossing the line, ain't it? So I don't pin the blame on Mikel Arteta for the team. I put that down to, I would say, the medical staff for mismanaging, you know, like Ben White and Tomiyasu. We're having to run Timber into the ground despite coming back from an ACL injury literally last year. So yeah, I mean, fair play to him for pretty much playing through this whole season, ACL injury, and yeah, I mean, towards the end of the season, it's good to see that we're not taking any other risks. I'm not expecting him to be out until August, September time, like Luca's put in the bloody chat, or Dr. Luke, should I say. He's not going to be out until August, September, because we've actually managed okay towards the end of the season. I don't think he's played since the PSG game, if I'm not mistaken. Or did he play in the Liverpool game? I'm pretty sure he didn't.
Who was that, sorry?
It was Ben White. It was Ben White right back, wasn't it?
I can't remember.
So I don't know who to pin the blame on, really. Like, I don't really like singling anyone out. So pretty much, I reckon it's just a combination. I don't think anyone is singly at fault here. I just think it's a combination of the medicals, the board, and the manager for overplaying these players.
I think I think there's a couple more factors in there, but I think you're right. It's sort of a perfect storm. I just want to correct a fact, because someone in the comments did say Trossard hasn't been injured this season, and he's absolutely correct, or she, I can't remember who it was. So absolutely spot on there. Partey did miss one game for a muscle injury, by the way. Could I double check that?
All right.
But yeah, I think it is a combination of so many things. I think it's just all come together in a perfect storm, which hopefully won't repeat itself. But I think what's interesting on the Timber injury here is there's clearly been a lesson learned here from Ben White last year. Now, no doctors are perfect, right? I'm not a medical man, so I'm not going to sort of criticise the medical department per se over the handling of any injury, because I don't know. But I think that is a factor that needs looking at. Is that a factor in what it is? But Ben White obviously was sent to surgery very late, and he had to play a little bit because there were some concerns about Timber, I think, at the time. I can't remember, but he should have been sent for surgery quite clearly last May. At least they've decided early here with Timber, Champions League is done, let's get him for surgery, which sort of, where there is anything there that was wrong with the medical department, at least this one has been decisive action taken early.
Yeah, definitely. Let's move on, guys. Big up the chat, by the way.
But
no, go on.
Yeah, by the way, I was just going to touch on some of these comments, right? About
Go on.
now blaming the medical staff. It's not just the medical staff. Like, I'm pretty sure we've made that clear that it's a combination of everyone involved in the club. Board, manager, medical staff. It's all.
Yeah.
So it's not just the medical staff. So this is what I'm on about. People keep twisting our words when we've actually pretty much expanded on what we've already said. Yes, the manager is, but also whoever's dealing with the injuries are to blame too. So just have to get that point across.
Yeah, unquestionably. I mean, I talked about a lot of factors, but one of those factors was Mikel Arteta. There's some context around it, but there was also somewhere you've got to say, no, actually, we're winning 5-0. Let's bring a player off early, or we're playing Preston away. Why is Saka starting? I can't remember if Saka started against Preston, but you know what I mean. Those sorts of things. And that's where that's where he takes some responsibility. As Rory says, there is a whole combination of factors. That sort of are in there.
Just a question from Top Gunner. Make sure, guys, you've got any questions, leave them, and we'll answer them as well.
Can you put a big Q by them? Because then I'm old and I can't do two things at once. That will help me spot.
Question panel. Do we?
You're only 40, bro.
It's an excuse. Let me have something, right? It's my crutch. Just and after the amount of running I did tonight, I'm going to need a crutch just tomorrow morning, mate.
Question panel: do we need to strengthen in more of the defensive areas this summer?
I reckon so, because you're letting go of Tierney and Zinchenko potentially. So you're going to need the left back.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to need cover for Saliba, which we've needed for years now. So yeah, we're going to have to. Obviously, we've already strengthened Zubimendi, but if Partey is going to be going as well as Jorginho, obviously you're going to need another midfielder, aren't you? So a defensive midfielder, should I say? So I would say at least defensive. No, 4 actually. with the goal because Neto's going, your best mate. So
I mean, obviously, you know, yeah. Josh hang out with an Arsenal player. No one can see my hand movements because the Top Gunner questions over it. But yeah, I put that in inverted commas. But I mean, yeah, so there'll be a new goalkeeper being signed, right? I think when you look at it, you've got White and Timber, you've got Calafiori and Miles Lewis-Skelly, you've got Zinchenko, you've got Gabriel, you've got Kivior, you've got Saliba.
Yeah.
And you've got Tomiyasu. So in theory, that's enough. But I think you can't count on Tomiyasu at all until at least December.
No
so
way.
let's call that
Yeah.
January. And I think, I think one of Kivior or Zinchenko should be sold this year. My preference, actually, funny enough, would be Kivior. I think he's done really well, but I think this is maximising the value. And I think you bring in another defender. I think you've probably got the right side of cover in already with, Tomiyasu, White, and Timber if you need it at right back. But I think if you can bring in the ideal man would have been Dean Huijsen, obviously, because he can play right or left.
Yeah.
But I think you need to bring in. If you let one go, I think you need another defender. If you don't let one go, I think you can probably get by as you are. I'm not sure I'd sign another 6 though, because I think let's say Partey goes, you've got Moreno. You probably switching Moreno to your left 6 rather than your right 6, but whatever. You've got Rice and you've got Zubimendi that can all play 6. So I would go for a slightly more attacking option were Thomas Partey to not go. But Rory's right. You need, if Partey doesn't sign, you sign another defender there.
Yeah.
But I think this is partly because we saw, and we're going to see a really active window here because a lot of top clubs did very little business last summer because the top players that they really wanted weren't available and they just didn't do business. So you're sort of going to see 2 windows in one, I think, this one. So we're not alone. It's going to be I think this will be a record-breaking transfer window.
A lot of people are saying, I don't know how you can say his name, Hato or Heitu from Ajax.
Oh, big fan of him.
Hato, yeah.
A lot of people are saying him in the chat right now.
I'd be a big fan of his. I mean, if I was looking at, Hato, it got me all excited. Love a defender. I'm like Mikel Arteta. I'm love a defender, me. But yeah, you look at it and go, obviously Dean Huijsen would have been the ideal, right? It's £50 million in 3 £17 million payments. Which, by the way, bothers me because that's not £50 million. But let's let that one slide. He would have been ideal because he can do right or left. But I get why. I mean, it was Real Madrid, but I never thought he was coming to Arsenal because Gabriel and Saliba are sort of in/entering their prime, and you're not starting ahead of them. But I think if Kivior were to go, Hato would be ideal because he can play left back, left centre back for you. That sort of gives you options there, straight replacement for Kivior. The other sort of one I really, really like is Silva, plays in the Portuguese league.
The Benfica one.
Yeah, I was going to say from Benfica, more of a right-sided centre back than a left-sided centre back.
Yeah,
but I'd be, and he's just a straight centre back. But he's good enough with his left that I wouldn't be too concerned about him playing left-sided centre back if Saliba went down. But Calafiori is another option there as well, of course.
Calafiori, yeah, he played there off the bench against Newcastle, didn't he? That second half. And been crying out for this guy as a centre back as well. The one,
that's why I didn't say a left centre back. But for me, right, if you get rid of Tierney Zinchenko, then you buy a left back, right? If you want to utilise Calafiori as a backup left back or the starting left back for Lewis-Skelly, then you sign 2 centre backs pretty much. Kiwior. If you're keeping Kiwior, then obviously you don't need a left-sided centre back. If you do end up letting him go because he wants first team action, then 2 centre backs. If you're going to play Calafiori at left back, which I think is what Arteta identifies.
I think Calafiori. I get why you want to try him at left back because he's so good going forward, right? We don't really play traditional left backs. He's good enough to sort of move into midfield because his technical ability. So I think he's a natural centre back, but I don't think he's too far out of position at left back. I think what the issue is, it's such a difficult position to play that it takes a while to adapt, and his injuries haven't helped him there. But he is quite raw. But I've no problem with him. If we signed a left back, any left back, and he became the Kivior replacement, assuming Kivior goes, and I think that will depend on Kivior. But I, as I say, I think he's quite attractive a sell option right now because of how high his stock is. Whereas I think Zinchenko's a much harder move because he's got limited sort of teams that sort of play the way he does. So I think he's the man that stays. He also covers you in midfield if you need it, right? But but if Zinchenko's to go and Kivior stays, I think it is a left back that you possibly look at as an option. But I think it's only one defender if one goes. I don't think you need another defender unless one goes. Unless you've got
I don't
money
think we'll
left over
get one
for-
anyway if one goes, Dom. That's the thing. I don't
Oh,
see
I
us
think we will.
spending.
Yeah.
I
think
personally
we will.
don't see us spending it all on what 2-3 defenders in one window.
Oh no,
when there's other
no.
there's other
One defender.
position.
Well, I'll tap Russ's capabilities of
I
doing
know,
it. because
I know we
Russ
goalkeeper
is-
FC,
Russ
left
is
back
to play
FC,
defence.
defend, whatever you want to call it, and we don't prioritize our positions. But I think for
Yeah.
this specific window, you have to go and prioritize the attack.
Arsenal are going to prioritise
Yeah.
the attack, no question, right?
I mean,
Go on, Rory.
yeah, I was just going to say, with the defence, right, I've completely forgotten what I was going to say, but it's completely left my mind. Go on, Dom.
Well, I was just going to say,
Don't
I mean, I think Josh is right. There's going to be a prioritisation on midfield because it looks like Zubimendi. We're just sort of working out the structure of the deal now, right? Everything else appears to be in place, but you never know with Zubimendi. Changed his mind a couple of times last summer. We're clearly going after a striker, and I think another forward will be next priority. I think the defender only really happens if you lose one. I don't think we get a defender if one doesn't go, unless there's a market opportunity. I think Jared Hatto, or that people are talking about, rightly in the chat, because I think he's a special looking talent, and at 18, I think probably doesn't expect to start necessarily if he came into a top club. I know. I was going to say you should talk about Ndicka in a minute because I know you're a big fan. I was a couple of years ago and he was available on a free, Rory. But if he came available, I would have no problem if Arsenal went. Actually, a deal can be done because I think the money is there for one more defender if you needed to, and I think that just sort of prioritize. Makes you sort of rush to sell a defender a little bit. You might just take 20 million for Kivior rather than 25. But I don't see Arsenal signing more than one defender this summer. I really don't. I don't think there's a need to, unless suddenly you lose two, or then you might have to replace them. But I think it's a question of one in, one out in defence, and it won't be a priority.
But yeah, what I was going to say actually, which I forgot at the time, was if we were going to let go of Saliba, right? Whether that's this summer, next summer, summer after, whatever. I don't exactly trust the club though to replace Saliba. In all fairness, because how long am I a replacement?
I think it's really hard to replace a player like Saliba, right?
Yeah. That's why that question. Who's out there?
We're not good at replacing these players, are we?
Who's actually out there? Like, is on the same that we can realistically go and get that will replace Saliba.
I don't think Saliba goes this summer anyway.
Bastoni's the only one, I reckon.
Even he would be a lot and would take so much. Even him to leave Inter, I just don't see it personally.
I don't think Saliba's going to leave this summer either. I really don't.
I don't think so either. I reckon he will leave. I don't know. If we don't win next season, he's gone the following summer.
Yeah.
Right, that's when I reckon he will leave. It will give it one last chance this season. And I reckon this is salute, with players like Rice, Saka, Gabriel, to actually do what's required in the summer and actually win major honours next season. Because if we don't, they're gone.
Yeah.
Like Gabriel and Saudi have been lurking for Gabriel, obviously. Saliba's obviously, Saliba's got his head turned to Real Madrid. Declan Rice, I mean, I know he's not going to move away, well, yet, but I'm pretty sure the way he's come in and the fact he's been in 2 seasons and we're calling for him to be our captain is madness, because he's come in with the right mentality, hasn't he? And he's not going to put for like 3 or 4 years, is he? So he will eventually go. Who knows? He may go to City. Eventually, I don't know. I I don't know, like when he reaches his prime and he's still not won anything with Arsenal. So yeah, it's just I am very, very concerned when we do lose players eventually, the likes of Rice, Saliba, Saka, for fake. Then yeah, I just don't trust the club to replace them. In all honesty, let alone bringing in the correct centre back to replace Saliba.
Yeah.
Or Saka or Declan, to be honest.
I mean, you're struggling to replace them because they're some of the best players in the world, right? I don't think they all go in one summer, but I think Saliba's the one I'm most worried about, right? I think he is going to go to Real Madrid at some point for the very simple reason that I think he's probably always wanted to play there. I think what will be key and what will sort of settle nerves is if 1, 2, 3 of these start to sign contracts. Now, that doesn't mean you're definitely going to keep them. But what it does do is increase value and make it harder for them to sort of leave. But of course, if they agitate for a leave, I don't think many clubs will keep a player that wants to go. But Saliba's the one I'm most concerned about. And as I say, I think he'll go at some point anyway.
Yeah, we got a few questions. Big up to Mr. Arsenal podcast. There's a mad echo, by the way.
Is there?
Nah, it's good now. It's good. It's good. It's good. I was gonna say Rishin's moving mad. Big up to you, Mr. Arsenal podcast. Make sure you guys subscribe to this channel as well. Amazing channel over there as well. Is Luca blaming the fan base for Arsenal having a strand of striker? Yeah.
I'll answer that actually.
Go on.
He will blame the fan base and the manager. Right? Just put it this way, right? If he was gonna sleep through his alarm tomorrow morning, he would still blame the fan. Let's just leave it as that.
There we go. There we go.
There's a real danger I sleep through my alarm tomorrow. I am dog tired.
I appreciate all your guys' questions as well, man. Where's the other one that's gone? Big up. Here we go. Big up to Gary as well. This leads on nicely to our next topic. Who do you think will win the Gykeres race? Arsenal, Man United, if Man United win on Wednesday. So this is that. Big up to you, Gary. This is that we're going to move on to right now. So yeah, we'll talk a little bit about this, guys, for about 10 minutes, hopefully. But yeah, Romano on Gykeres. The narrative seems to be changing around. Gykeres went from what does that say, guys? I need to go back to school. I need to get my eyes checked.
Wait.
It says, who do you think will win the Glock race?
No. On the screen.
On the narrative.
Destin, sorry,
bro.
Destin. Send me back to school right now, bro. For Arsenal and to Arsenal United showing the interest, seems to me that Gyökeres and United are waiting to see if they get if they get Champions League before making a move. Generally, also think if both teams have Champions League football, United have the advantage on Almiron, of course, being the ex-manager. I'll start with you first, Dom. Could this be a factor in this Gyökeres situation? Like, if Man United get Champions League football, we know they're a big club, and also the manager who was with Gyökeres at Sporting as well. They worked so well together. Could that persuade him to join Man United over Arsenal? Do you think?
I think with transfers, I think there are always sort of a variety of reasons why players move. I talk about this a lot, right? It's not just money. For some, it is. But for some, it's about where they want to play, who the manager is. Are they going to get in the team? Do they believe in the sort of where the club's going? I think if I'm Viktor Gyökeres right now, yes, I know Almiron, but right now, United, who ironically could win a trophy when we won't, is a mess of a football club, right? It's arguably even more of a mess, despite the fact it's winning a few trophies than we were when Arteta took over. You know, I don't believe they were quite as bad as their league position suggests, but I do think they were bottom half of the table side. Now, Gyökeres, of course, transforms that quite a lot if he were to go there. But if you're Viktor Gyökeres, you've got to be looking at and going, to really win the big trophies and to compete regularly for trophies, which again United have done in the last 3 years. They've won 3 cups, but cups are, cups are difficult to win. One bad game, you're out. You're probably 4 or 5 years away from being in a position where you are going to consistently challenge for the top trophies. By that point, you're 31. I think if you're coming to Arsenal, then in theory, we should be competing for those trophies now. And you could have 3 or 4 years of that. You also know you are going to, you should be coming into a side that is ready to win. and you should be coming in to start. Now, you might be eased in slightly. I wouldn't be shocked if Havertz starts the first 3, 4, 5 games of the season at least, to sort of bed a player in. I'm not necessarily saying I'd do that, but I wouldn't be shocked. But you'd expect to be starting if you're coming in as a number 9 at Arsenal right now. And I think that will be a factor. And we know that Arteta has actually been quite a crucial factor in a lot of player signing, including Declan Rice. So I think he could be quite significant in this. But I would be surprised if Viktor Gyökeres chose United over Arsenal. I think the only two things that it would make that happen would be either the manager or they offer him a ton of money. And I'm not sure United can afford to offer him a ton of money. And also, if I'm United, I know he changes things quite substantially, but I'm like, you do, unless you're just going to hemorrhage money on your 2 strikers you've got now, and you're going to lose a lot of money on them. You're just going to have to accept low ball bids. Do you just try and put some other forwards in around them and hope that they start scoring, Xerxes and Højlund, rather than bring in another number 9? It doesn't quite make sense to me from a United perspective, unless you are literally going, do you know what, Xerxes and Højlund, we're just gonna sell them for whatever we can get. But I'm not sure they're financially in a position to do that, even with Champions League football.
Well, they're also looking to sign Cunha as well at the same time, aren't they?
Yeah, that's pretty much
that's a done deal as well, and that's what is it? 76 million euros.
Yeah, 76.
That's already a lot. That's a chunk of them. That's a chunk of money.
Isn't that his release clause as well?
It must be close to it, right? I mean, presumably he's going to play on the left.
Yeah, I think it's his release clause.
I presume on the left, yeah. I presume he'll play on the left as well. But
that's a much more sensible signing for United than yet another number 9, because that means you've got Fernandes and you've got Cunha supplying Højlund and Xerxes. If they then can't score, then you're going to have to cut your losses. But I think if United, you've got to just give it one more go. Otherwise, you're pissing away 100 million or more, whatever it was they spent. It's just number 9 as a priority just doesn't quite make sense to me, given the amount of other issues they have. Yeah. But who knows, right? I mean, but I just don't think they've got that. I don't think they've got the money for masses unless they're going to get big sales. And who are you selling out the United side? Bar Fernandes.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? That's the thing.
I mean, De Ligt and Euro maybe, but you've just brought in your centre backs. Where the hell are you going to move them on?
Yeah.
Yeah, facts.
By the way, Casemiro becomes the highest paid Premier in the Premier League if they win the Champions League due to a clause in his contract.
He becomes the highest what?
Based on current salaries, Casemiro, if they win the Champions League, becomes the highest paid player in the Premier League.
Wow.
But how much are they paying?
How much is he on?
I think he goes to something like 400 grand a week.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, God.
I mean, don't quote me on that. I haven't looked it up, right? I mean, I do like to get my facts straight, which is why I correct when someone corrected me in chat about Trossard, who I forgot. But I think the clause takes him to mega money. What you don't ever know with these reporting, though, is how accurate it is. But the clause seems to be quite widely reported. It takes him to a top earner, but you don't know if they included bonuses and stuff in that as well. But I've seen that. I think an Athletic reporter and like Manchester Evening News and some quite reputable reporters have sort of said that's sort of the clause that he's got. No wonder he wants to stay.
I mean, he's on 300.
Don't blame him, yeah.
Just Google.
Yeah, he's already on 350. God knows what it's going to take him to.
Oh my!
That's incredible. God. Jesus. But yeah, Rory, what do you think, bro? In terms of like Man United being in the race for him, do you think could they get Champions League because he's ex-manager? Could it play a factor? Or do you think we'll get over the line, bro?
I think I brought this up before, actually, that I'm not really too concerned about Man United coming in for him, if I'm being honest.
Sorry to cut you off. Did you hear about Liverpool as well?
Yeah, I did. And that's the only team I am concerned about because they're moving mad so far.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
The window hasn't even opened yet. Frimpong, Gykeres, sorry. So I would be concerned about Liverpool coming in. I reckon he suits Liverpool more than he does with Arsenal. It's just me. Not to say he doesn't suit Arsenal, but I reckon Liverpool, he is perfect for slot boy. So, yeah, that's the only club that I am concerned about in terms of Real Madrid. Not really, because, like, where are they going to play him? And secondly, I mean, coming in for him anyway, if I'm being honest, because they've got enough forward players. Chelsea, I can see them going for Osimhen, I can't lie. Man United, I mean, I've been hearing lately they've been interested in Delap.
Delap, yeah.
For about 30 million. So if they get him, then they're definitely
that
not
makes
getting,
more sense, though, right, Rory? Because you could spend
Yeah,
30
yeah, it
million on
does.
Delap, and then you could probably sell Xerxes, even if you got 20 million, or got him out on loan and got 10 million in, in wages saved and what have you. That starts to make sense.
Yeah, I mean, like if Gykeres, right? Let's say he was 24, or 22 actually, right? He's at a relatively young age. Then I reckon United, if they do qualify for the Champions League, would make sense for him because former manager and he's got some room to develop.
Yeah,
right, in the Premier League, but he's at an age where I'm pretty sure he's in his prime. He's like 27,
26, 27.
Right, so at the moment, I don't think with the state Man United are in at the moment, yes, they're going to win a trophy. Well, they might win a trophy on Wednesday to qualify for the Champions League, but that would say papers over the cracks again, like it did last season for Man United. And I don't think he's in the right frame of mind to join a rebuild, if you know what I'm United. They're not going to be challenging for the league title or big trophies pretty much. Well, I don't even know for the next at least 7-8 years.
Even if it's 5, or it takes him to 31, 32, and that's when he's quite. And that's why Liam Delap makes more sense. He's younger, but also your financial hit is 30 million outlay, not 60 million outlay. And if you're struggling with a whole load of holes to fill, and you've already got 2 number 9s, crap as they are, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah,
but United don't make sense, so they probably are in for him.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I mean, Man United were always going to be in for him. The moment Amorim left Sporting to go Man United, he was always going to be in the reckoning for Man United. But like, if you come to Arsenal, yes, we're not winning trophies at the moment. Man United currently are, but we are this close to be getting line. He'll know, right? He's one of our final pieces of the puzzle, right? I'm not saying we only just need Gyökeres because we need plenty of other positions, but like that's the position being eager to strengthen since Aubameyang left, for crying out loud. So he'll know that. He'll be aware that we're in a position where we can get over the line, but we can't because we're playing defensive midfield. Well, holding midfielders up front, aren't we? Box to box midfielders up front. So for me, it makes so much sense to just come Arsenal, perhaps win a few trophies. If he doesn't, then obviously that's not down to him, is it? Like that's obviously down to the manager and whoever's upstairs. The other thing I'm a bit concerned about this Gyökeres deal, right, is where does Arteta stand with it? Right, is he for Sesko? Because I think he is. So if Berta and Arteta are causing a bit of, I don't know, debacle between the two, then I am a bit concerned, right, if Berta ends up going for Gyökeres when Arteta is quite clearly after Sesko. Yeah, I'm a bit concerned like whether or not the manager won't know what to do with him. Like
I'm not concerned about that.
Pepe situation when he wanted Zaha, but he got Pepe instead, and he had no clue what to do with him. So that does concern me.
I'm not concerned about that. I mean, obviously, we don't know right now whether how much of a disagreement there is. But I mean, we know Arteta's been in Mario Sesko for a while, so the reporting kind of makes sense. But I don't think Mikel Arteta is going to be concerned at all if Viktor Gyökeres comes in. I think he's concerned if he gets, I don't know, Liam Delap in or Evan Ferguson in instead of Sesko. I think that's probably when you've got more of an issue. I mean, at that point, he's just going to play Kai Havertz, right? But I'm not too concerned about that. I think these sort of discussions are actually a healthy thing and a good thing for a club to be having. You want Berta and Arteta to be able to have a debate and a discussion about various players and what works and what doesn't. What you don't want though is for a player to be signed that the manager doesn't want at all. That's generally not a good thing. If you look at Jed Spence when he was signed by Conte, like that was an absolute nightmare at Tottenham, right? Just didn't want him in any way, shape, or form. You know, that's where the manager needs to have a say, from my point of view, for a good running of the club. But it shouldn't be the only voice, and therefore, it's a good thing that these discussions are happening. I don't see it as an issue at all.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing the past couple of weeks about Sesko and Gyökeres. Like, Berta seems to be pushing more for Gyökeres because Berta wanted him at Atletico, didn't he, as well? So he's trying to get him at Atletico. That's understandable. He wants him at Arsenal. But then you look at Arteta, been pushing for Sesko for how many times, how many windows now? I think even in January, there's a little report that we even tried to go for him in January, but it was, of course, 70 million, no chance, So, yeah, it's clear like Arteta, but I'm with John. I feel like, you look at play. Sorry, Dom, fucking John.
So I was going to let it
Yeah,
slide.
he's gonna let it slide. But when you look at a player like Gyökeres, right now, I mean, he's the most informed striker in Europe. Yeah, you got Isak there, but he's definitely up there. Arteta is not going to really say no to that, is he?
No, I mean, in terms of those numbers, obviously they're slightly sort of boosted by the league he's in. But as we said before, he's scored in Europe consistently.
Yeah,
he looks
exactly.
good in Europe as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I think, like I say, I think it's slightly disingenuous to players like Isak to say he's the most in form in Europe. But you're absolutely right. He's still a quality player.
He's certainly up there, man, and I don't think there'll be a problem there.
One last thing, Josh. I think it actually becomes the really sensible target now, right? If it is 60 million that you pay, even if you pay 70 million, because if the reports are right about Šeško, I'm not too worried if we sign Šeško, but if he's going up to 100 million euros,
no,
it's Gyökeres looks much better value for money
100%.
at that point, and I think he's the better player right now, but you'd expect that. He's 4 or 5 years older, right? So you'd expect him to be the better player right now. But if he's the better player right now and he's, 20, 30 million pounds cheaper, I mean, it's a no-brainer option to go after. The concern, as Rory says, is well, I mean, I'd like to pay as little as possible, obviously, because I'm a tight bastard. But actually, it's important because it gives you more money elsewhere. But yeah, if you paid 80 million for Gyökeres, then I don't think you're being robbed. I mean, you never know until they arrive. But my concern, as Rory sort of alluded to, what happens if someone does get in? Then where do you go? Because does the money go up even further for Šeško?
Yeah.
Osimhen is asking for the world financially. He's going to have to lower his wage demands to become affordable, not just for us, but for a lot of teams. Then where do you go?
Exactly. Gyökeres has got to be the best option to go for in this summer window. Out of all, people may rate other strikers.
Let's just get this straight, right? Like, I know signing Gyökeres will be a danger, right? And it could kick us on. But we need more than Gyökeres, as I've just mentioned earlier. Right, we need obviously a right winger to obviously cover Saka, a left winger, midfield. Well, obviously we've got Zubimendi. Perhaps a number 10, depending on if you are if you're eager to play one area's right-sided play, that's fine. But you need a number 10 to cover if you're playing one area as the right winger. And then you need a couple of defenders in there. I mean, there's not many wingers though out there to obviously cover for Saka and Martin. Although we need an upgrade on Martin, don't we? But
I mean, I think you certainly need competition for Martinelli, and I'm not sure there's, the left wing market is poor, right? So I'm not sure how many wingers are up there. We've been asked about Leao, and I think that would be a big risk in the Premier League, to be honest. For Leao, I think he does well in Italy. I'd worry about his transition to England.
He's not really consistent, though.
Exactly, and he's 26 as of next season. Like, he starts next season as a 26-year-old. So I wouldn't be sort of pursuing that.
I'm also watching him as well. Like, on that left hand side, he's got like sort of Ryan, Dale Hernandez, and not really providing any sort of consistency either. And that left hand side for Arsenal has been an issue 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, Josh will know more about AC Milan, sort of, whether that's just down to him or whether there are other issues there. But I mean, I look at it, I go, I'm not sure we need quite as many players as that. The way I look at this window is we basically signed 2 players last year because we got 2 on loan for a variety of reasons. So that sort of puts you a couple more players in this year. But generally speaking, you signed 4 6 kind of feels about right, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be the goal. It's going to be the goalkeeper. It's going to be a defender if one goes. It's going to be one midfielder if Partey stays, 2 if he goes. So that takes me to 4 with a Sale. I think if you lose Partey and you lose a defender, you're probably looking at 7. I think you're then looking, as I say, that's you're looking at probably. No, I think you could probably get away with 6 there and a striker and a forward. Because what would your forward line be then if you just brought in a forward and a striker and a winger? And I think if you sign someone like Eze, you've kind of covered your midfielder and your wing at the same time. So you'd be looking at a forward line there of Trossard, Martinelli, Saka, Nwaneri, Odegaard, Havertz, Jesus when he comes back, and then +2. I think Kai Havertz, ironically, might well be part of the number 10 option if Odegaard is struggling. I think what you do is you slightly tweak the system and you move Havertz slightly closer to a striker than Odegaard is. People might not like it,
Here we go.
But there we go. But I think sort of 6, 7 players is what we're looking at this summer.
Luca, how
I
we
was,
doing?
you know, I was just going to ask, right?
Oh,
sorry
yeah,
to cut you off, Josh, but I was just going to ask, like, who would you like in terms of sticking to the basics of the attack line, right? What would you do in terms of the right wing spot? Would you play Nwaneri right wing next season or centrally, and then bring, I don't know, a right winger in for cover for Saka? Because I'm hearing all this gimmick about in Burmo and the fact, oh no, we don't want him now.
Why not?
People moaning about Saka and the fact he's getting overplayed for crying out loud. And now suddenly,
Mbeumo's a baller.
Oh no, we don't want Mbeumo now, do we?
Why people don't want him? I don't understand.
I don't get it. Oh, because he's not a left wing. No, he'll be cover for bloody Saka.
I swear he can play across the both wings.
He's played something like 60-40 last time I looked, right to left. He plays more on the right than left, but not significantly more. I'd be fine with Mbeumo. I mean, I'm not paying the Brentford asking price, which is something like 70 million, but I don't think they get that. He's got 1 year left on his deal. Like, they're not getting anywhere near that. And Mbeumo's fine. I think Nwaneri, for me, is the right wing cover. I think replace backup for Saka is really, really hard. It's like Tottenham struggle to get backup for Kane because Saka plays if he's fit. It's like Liverpool trying to get backup for Salah. So I think the way you back up Saka is with someone that can cover a couple of positions, and I think it'll be some combination of Nwaneri, Havertz, Jesus sort of backing him up, and I think that's fine because I think Nwaneri can sort of get minutes at 10/ on that right wing and keep that development going forward.
You know who else I'll go for as well? I like that Savio geezer who was at Girona last season.
Well, you mean the one that's gone to City because they bought them from
themselves? That's Savinho.
Oh, Savinho, sorry.
Yeah, that's Savinho. I'm talking about Savio.
Rory, you're trolling.
You're
trolling.
No, Savinho plays for City.
Yeah. Savinho plays for City.
But I'm talking about Savio, who's at Girona.
Are they not the same players?
Are they not the same player?
Is he trying to trick us or something?
No. Like,
he's taking a piss. He's taking a piss. He's got to be taking a piss.
It's got to be the same one.
No, I'm being serious. Like, are they not twins?
No. Bro, Rory, you're trolling.
I'm not even trolling.
I mean, Josh, we're gonna freaking stupid if he's right here, but
if he's actually, we're gonna like mugs if he's actually right.
I think
he's talking about the same player. There's no way I'm thinking this whole time that there's two.
No, Savio is his nickname, short for Savinho.
Yeah, exactly. That's what anyway, hello, Luca. How are you?
I'm good, man.
How you doing, Luca?
Oh my days!
Not bad, mate. Not bad. Yeah, I'm good.
How's your week?
Someone just needs to check for me though.
Yeah, bro.
I'll check that. Well, we say hello to Luca.
Luca, how's your week been, mate?
Besides of football and YouTube, everything's been okay, mate.
Yeah, but we won.
Yeah, but we won, which is good.
So where's the rant, Luca?
Well, go and watch the channel, and you know what I said. It's feel free.
Oh, Luca, you've fell right into that trap, haven't you?
Well, even when Tom Red came on yesterday.
Oh, Josh, you missed
out,
bro.
Mate. I missed it.
In other news, Rory, they are one and the same person.
Are you kidding me?
Until my Twitter account got literally fucking blocked and fucking gone.
Wait, so let's get this straight. Let's get this straight. Right.
Until someone clicked me. That's probably the reason why my Twitter fucking disappeared.
So let me get this straight on, right? Savio and Savinho are not the same player.
No, they are the same player.
Oh, they are the same player.
They are the same player, yeah.
I thought he was trying to prank us, like troll us.
No, I genuinely thought like that there was or something. I was like, but where's that Savio geezer gone? I thought he'd...
Oh God!
It's because the commentators always bloody say Savinho or something. They always say bloody Savinho in commentary, but they never say Savio.
Yeah, that's because that's his full name and Savio is his short name.
You thought everyone used to call him Savio when he was at Girona last season, bro.
You are right. He's a completely different player this season, ain't he, compared to Girona? Gotta say that, but
oh well, yeah. If that's the case, then no, not him because he's shit.
Facts. But
oh my, you know, I'm never escaping them allegations, am I? I'm gonna get fucking clipped as well for that. Can't believe it.
Yeah, he will. We can do a whole video on a list of clips of this season, bro. Of TG.
I've got that sorted as well.
Sorted out, ready to go, and that's going in there.
I got that sorted.
So many. There's so many, man. Probably be an hour-long
Is
video.
that the worst one? Is that worse than?
No,
I know it wasn't part of the podcast, but is that worse than
one.
Tom Red's, you know, confusion with Thomas Rosicky and Shavin? Is that
no,
worse?
it's not worse. It's not worse.
Or the Czech Republic being in Asia.
But Luca, let's come to you, mate. We've just been talking about a little bit about Timber injury.
Oh, here we go.
Cooper,
we all know what's coming.
Cooper, if you want to come on, bro, the link's on WhatsApp, man. So feel free to 100% welcome, bro. Luca, we've been talking about Timber injury, and then we're talking about Gykeres, Man United getting involved. If you want to just give your thoughts on both, if you can, bro.
Yeah, I think for me with the Timber injury, Timber's out till September.
No, he's not.
Dr. Luca.
He is.
Where are you hearing
Timber is out for the start.
Wait, Luca, have you got your sources then?
I know information, despite my foot is not there. Timber's out till August, September.
HP source, Luca.
No. I might go and get something. But no. Look, for me, I think it's a bit of a blow that Timber is out injured because it is a player who's really been like real key success for us this season. And look, if we go back in time when we signed Jurrien Timber 2 years ago, he played that Nottingham Forest game, and after that, quite frankly, he never played again, and he was out with that ACL and got injured in the first half against Nottingham Forest. And Timber's been so important to us this season with that right-hand side, even especially getting to the Champions League semi-final against Paris Saint-Germain. And look, I think for me, look, I made a video on my channel earlier, like a pre-record video. It's a 7-minute video, and majority, I said, look, do I really blame Mikel Arteta for overplaying him? Not with the Timber situation, I don't, because majority, I kind of feel like maybe he was playing. He was playing.
Which way do you need me to look?
In I think for me, no, I said
Is there an echo? Hold on. Cooper.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, man. I think you're echoing a little bit, bro.
Any better?
I can hear Luca in the background still. I think it's in your screen.
My conversation off. But yeah, how are you, Cooper? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks.
That's okay, bro. But as I was saying, yeah, that's okay. But no, Jurrien Timber for me, do I really blame Mikel Arteta on this situation? No, I don't. But however, I do blame William Saliba, because Saliba now has a hamstring problem because he has to go for a scan. But his injury is not as worse compared to Jurrien Timber, which is good news. So I think for me, Saliba playing him yesterday against Newcastle, yeah, okay, it does make sense for him to play because we needed to get Champions League football, otherwise it will have to come down to the final game. But I do blame Arteta playing Saliba in other games because I do think this season he has overplayed players. But with Jurrien Timber, I don't think so.
Yeah. Well said, bro. Fair enough.
Who would you have played then instead of Saliba then?
You play Calafiori and Kivior. Calafiori,
Calafiori's been
yeah,
injured.
but
though.
Calafiori had a good game yesterday.
Yeah, but he's been injured.
Yeah, he's only just come back, isn't
I
he?
know he's just come back, and I get that.
But Luca, quick thoughts on Gyökeres and Man United and Arsenal in the race.
For me, with Gyökeres, look for me. I think the possibility the deal might happen. I do. I think we've got a good chance. It all depends, right? If Man United win the Europa League, people need to realise and wake up and realise that if Man United win the Europa League, there is a bit of a part to play where Gyökeres could actually go to Man United because it kind of makes sense. Look, not unless Arsenal actually slap the money. I do think we've got a great chance of getting Gyökeres. I do. Do I think it will happen? I'm 50-50 now. And I was confident of getting him, but obviously it all depends. But we all want Man United to win. We don't want them locked down the road. We don't want no Seven Sister Road lifting the trophy.
Really, because you was dancing and celebrating a few years ago when it was playing against Tottenham, when playing the Tottenham chants in your house.
But majority, right? I just feel like with Gyökeres, it's such a very important player we must go and get. I don't want none of this Benjamin Sesko crap, right?
Not for me.
No, not for me, because this fan base will get all gassy, right? Right? Until my Twitter account got fucking destroyed, right? Now I can't obviously debate with it, but I can still do it on my channel. But however, Gyökeres is such a very important player to our team. He has scored 95, 96 goals and 101 appearances. That is a goal scoring machine. Arsenal should be getting to go on to win the league. I don't want people saying, "Oh, Sesko this, Sesko that. Oh, he's 21 years old, Project Youth." No, he's not the answer to win the league. Okay, we need Gyökeres. Right, forget Alexander Isak. Right, that was never happening. So we need to go and get Gyökeres in this transfer window. He is the answer. And I hope it does happen. And I think we've got a good chance of getting him. But at the same time, I will not be surprised if Man United snap him up. But let's wait and see. It's a bit of a game. It's between us and Man United. And with Mikel Arteta, don't get me wrong, Josh, you did say this on one of your pre-record videos quite recently. Arteta obviously shouldn't be in charge of the transfers. It should be Bercher, but Arteta will have a part to play. And I get with Mikel Arteta where obviously he's had full control of the transfers before. But with this director, what we've now got, he should be in control. Like, it should not be Mikel Arteta, right, involved in everything, choosing Benjamin Sesko. If we want to go on and win the league, and if Arteta wants to prove to us that we can win the Premier League, right, go and get people like Gyökeres. Start being ambitious in this transfer window, because this season has been an absolute joke, right? And let's hope next season is our year and we go and win it. World Cup season.
Yeah,
Just really quickly, I mean, I think we're going to be ambitious this summer. The money's there. Like, I genuinely don't think it was there to the extent we would have wanted to be there last year. I think it's there this year. But I also don't think Arteta's going to be in charge of the transfers. I don't see any evidence of that either from the past or now. I think he has a say, and I think he has a significant say, but I don't think he's in charge of it. I think there's that group of them that work it out between them, and then they sort of come to the consensus view, which I think is probably a smart way of doing it, and how I think some of the best clubs around do it.
Yeah, I 100% agree. 100% agree.
Definitely.
That would really would be ideal, because if we do end up having the money available, it would be great, because we still haven't spent money for Eddie Nketiah and Smith Rowe. So that money is still there.
And we've got 89 million from Champions League.
And we've got 89 mil from Champions League. Add the 100 million to that, it's about 200 million, 189 million plus player sales. We're willing to get rid of 4 players, right? I think we need to get rid of more than 4 players. But however, 4 players is obviously what they've been saying at the moment, which you add on top, that's just over 250 million.
Just quickly on the sales from last year, I think that was about making sure we complied with the FFP rules for the Champions League. I did a lot of geeky maths that I won't go into, but I think that's sort of. I think we're in a sell to buy window last year, but I think now this window will have 3 years of Champions League football in the accounts for that, and you lose that big net loss from what is now 3 years ago, but that will become off that. Bless you. But that's what allows us to spend this year in a way we didn't last year. I will spare you all the maths I did because I did a lot of maths to work that through.
No, that's really good. That's really good.
Dom's a mathematician, Luca, mate.
Mathematician GCSEs, mate. But no, but look, I think for me, look, the money is going to be there, available. But whether this,
I'm sorry, Luca. I'm sorry.
whether what?
Oh no, it's not you. Dom, have you seen the reply to your tweet?
No, I haven't.
What?
I can't even remember what I tweeted.
Now, I can't even get onto Twitter.
Big up the Dom. He gave me a shout. Yeah, he gave me a shout tonight, and then look at the reply.
Oh my god, Dom Seb's replied as well.
I can't even get on Twitter. Twitter have bloody banned me, man. They've literally banned me.
Lucas been banned by
I
Twitter.
didn't think I did. I didn't even do
Why,
it.
Luca? What have you done, my friend?
I don't know. Probably someone's supporting me for no reason.
For what, Luca, man?
No.
Oh my god.
I haven't found the response yet. Is it what phases something in?
Nah, he's talking
nonsense, I bet,
nonsense.
as
I bet,
usual.
Oh well.
Oh well, there we go. There we go.
I mean, as a winger to push Martinelli, I wouldn't mind maybe someone like Nico Williams, but I know.
Yeah.
Say the
Yeah, we want this. I want to come to Coop, man, because man's been waiting patiently. Cooper, how you
What's
been,
up?
my brother? How you been?
I'm all right. Good. How
How's
are you
your
guys?
ankle, by the way? Is it better? Is it getting there?
It's getting there.
Good, man. Are you on? Have you got the boot now?
Yeah, it's still in the boat.
It's still in the boot. Ah, bless up to you, man. Listen, your boy, bro, the one you've been wanting for years now, bro. Yeah, always in my chat.
Yep.
I think the first time I met you, yeah, you had it in his profile picture. Yeah, that profile picture of him, Gykeres, man. It could happen, but what are you saying, Cooper? Gykeres to Arsenal.
I think he's coming. I
I've said it.
I just, he was, Berta had, his representatives with him when, when we played Real Madrid and we won, in the Champions League. You know, I he better fucking come. But I don't. I don't want somebody who's not ready. I want somebody who's in his prime and he's ready to go. And I hope he's coming. But I don't think the Man United thing, like even if they make Champions League, he's got to look at that and be like, what a fucking garbage
A
situation.
lot of people are saying that. Sorry to interrupt, but a lot of people are saying that it all depends on Wednesday's game. But
I
does
don't
it
think it
even
depends
really
on anything.
matter
I really
about
don't
Wednesday's
think it.
game? Whether Man United win it, right? Money
If-
talks. You
if-
offer the money, what United offer, and you double the amount, and Arsenal go for him, and then the player would want to come. It doesn't matter whether Man United win, they get Champions League football.
Yeah.
Where do they get all this fucking money from?
Because
Don't they have to sell players?
United, I think, have got a world of issues if they don't get Champions League football financially.
That's what I'm saying. Why would he want to go?
I mean,
Why would he want to go
Dom
and play for that
Dom
team?
alluded to this earlier, bro. Like,
And if he had a close
you
enough
look at their squad
relationship,
apart from Bruno Fernandes, like there's no one there that can sell for good money.
I mean, and if Amarin's, as good of a coach as we think he is, then he should say, Victor, go to Arsenal. You don't want any. This is a shit show over here.
He's talking about leaving, ain't he, next season? If you don't, if it's the same as how they've been doing, anyway.
Yeah. I don't think he wants to. His big move. I don't think he wants to go to a 16th place team.
No.
But
this is thing, Cooper. I was asking whether his ex-manager, because he's so good at Sporting, could that convince him playing under him again?
I don't. Again, I think it's a shit show. I think Gykeres is smart enough. Like I said, he's going to sign his big contract. Do you think he wants to? I'd rather go to a. Yes, we finished second, third year in a row. Who gives a shit? We won't remember any of these 3 years if we win something next year.
Yeah.
But I think he's smart enough to know. You know what I mean? Like Arsenal's a bigger club. Well, it's not a bigger, but you know what I'm saying. We're at a different phase than
Yeah.
I don't even know
Man
what phase
United,
we're in. You know what I mean? But Liverpool scares me. If Liverpool go after him,
Yeah.
can you imagine that? Salah,
Oh my God, Salah, Gyökeres, and whoever they have on the left.
Gyökeres, and Luis, I mean, so
And they just signed Frimpong and Gykeres, mate, as a
Declan Rice
fullback.
pretty much liked Viktor Gyokeres' Instagram, so surely that goes.
Wait, what happened?
Yeah, but he follows Bruno Gykeres
Yeah,
as
Declan
well.
Rice,
Doesn't
1
mean
minute
anything, does it?
1 minute ago, according to Gunner's social,
Luca, how are you getting brainwashed by all of this?
according to this,
Luca, hold on a
How
minute,
are
Luca.
you
Do you not remember Mikhailo Mudryk? When he was
I know.
fucking, he was twerking for Arsenal, mate. He's
Also,
putting pictures about him in an
also
Arsenal shirt.
Declan Rice follows bloody Bruno Gykeres, bruv.
but
It doesn't mean anything.
yeah, but this fan base got too gassy. They all believe that Mudryk was coming.
Yeah, Luca, you're falling for it, bro. You're falling for it, Luca.
Mudryk, yeah, but Mudryk, I
You
never
say
rated
hello?
this kid. I never rated this kid. The kid
Hi, Eve. Luca, please say hi to Eve.
How are you? You good?
You want to show her the?
How are you?
Oh, wow.
I made
That is
colors.
wow.
I put it on water and colors on it.
Nice.
Say go Arsenal.
Because I little girl.
Are Arsenal going to win the Premier League next year?
Eve, will Arsenal win next year?
I got this.
That
I
means
doubt it.
you like it.
She's a ballerina right now. She doesn't give a shit.
No, but as I
But
was
Luca,
saying,
have you not learnt from the Mudryk situation?
Yeah,
but
I
everyone's
know.
all
I
gassy.
mean,
Everyone got
this
that-
fan base are
people in
getting
the chat-
hyped.
People in the chat thought Mudryk was all going to be all this next thing. I never rated Mikhail Mudryk. I did a transfer video on my YouTube channel, right, a couple of years ago, whenever it was, right, and I.
All right, Luca, but that's not the point, though, is it?
Yeah, but still.
You're just waffling at
How
this
am I
rate.
offering?
You know what the sad thing is? We still haven't tried to replace. Even if we were going to
Because-
sign Mudryk, we'd never fucking signed a left winger.
Luca,
So.
I'll tell you why you're waffling, right? Because the point is, right, Mudryk, how many times before he even, well, he didn't join Arsenal in the end, before he eventually moved in January, he liked a variety of our posts. Rice follows Bruno Gykeres on Instagram as well. So basically, it happens when players from opposition fans follow each other. Like, it's just normal. They're Premier League footballers. I know Gykeres is playing in Portugal, but still. I mean,
You do, yeah, and you do realize, Luca. You remember when Declan Rice trained with Bruno Fernandes as well? They did like a pre-season
Yeah, I know.
training that meant nothing.
sorry, that
It
wasn't
might
Bruno
not
Gykeres. It was
It
a
might
Bruno
not
Fernandes.
yeah.
Training with another player in pre-season, and that doesn't mean whether the player is going to come. But if you can try and convince them, it's a possibility.
How?
Because he liked the
He's only
post.
following him on Instagram.
Tell
They're
them
not
about
in
the
touch.
club, whether it comes down to the player or not. Like, I'm being serious. I'm not joking.
Are you actually
I'm
real,
not
Luca?
counting or anything like that. I'm being serious.
Luca. Oh my god. Oh my
Otherwise,
god.
I'll be sitting and not laughing.
Well, yeah, that's. Well,
You never
I
know.
guess-
You never know because majority, even if a player likes the photo, that doesn't mean the player is going to come. So it does give you a little bit of a hint. It's a possibility.
Hold on, Luca. So if we don't sign Gykeres this summer and he ends up going elsewhere to Man United or something, what are you going to do? Blame the player? You're going to blame
Blame the
Declan
player.
Rice?
Turkey.
Yeah, you've just said he's got to
I'll see you
You
guys
just
later.
said he's got a sway.
All right.
Bless up, Coop, bro.
towards
Big
Arsenal.
up,
Take
bro.
care, man.
I hope your ankle gets better soon, Cooper.
See you guys.
Knee, I mean. Knee, I meant. Sorry.
Bless up,
Ankle
bro.
timber.
Rich Sport, what are you on about? Cook yourself, bro. Like, you worry about Rich Sport, can I ask you something? Sorry to interrupt you. Rich Sport, I respect you, bro, but why do you put transfers out saying that Gykeres is agreed where it's not even actually happened, bro?
He's jealous.
Like, come on, bro. Like, honestly, real talk, yeah?
He's fuming.
Like, be serious.
Luca, what are you calling out Rich for, man?
No, I don't have a problem with him. I like Rich. I don't have a problem with him. But I'm just obviously saying, like, why are people putting something that's already been agreed where it's not even happened yet?
Luke, I can't lie. You're deceiving yourself. I can't lie.
Luca, mate, you didn't want Isaac apparently as well. Don't listen to him.
Yeah, you didn't want.
That was
Exactly.
back in, like, 2021.
Excuse the pun.
Mel's got the evidence. Well, it's on our channel. It's on our channel.
Yeah.
At the time, I didn't even know.
And you didn't want
Goals
Gyökeres
at
either.
Real Sociedad. And
You
I
didn't
always,
want Gyökeres either.
yeah, I did.
Look, Isaac at
When
the
did I
time.
say? When did I say I did not want Gyökeres?
Are you joking, Luke?
When did I say that?
You don't want
Yeah,
anyone
we've
Luca
got
Arsenal, do you,
receipts.
mate? At this
I'm
rate.
going to
We've got
pick up and I'll
receipts, bro.
apologise to people in the chat.
I can't even share my screen, bro.
I'll apologise to people, right, if I actually said it. I want someone to find that clip and I'll hold my hands up. Because I don't remember. I believe you, but however, obviously I don't remember it.
You definitely did, Luca.
I can't remember.
1 year ago, Arsenal linked with Gyökeres, 85 million.
Whose video was that? Mine.
Yours.
Yeah, you're
Mine!
Yours, man.
Yes.
Should we
Yours.
play it and see what I said?
Well, I don't know. I don't know when it
No.
was.
Arsenal linked with Gyökeres, 85 million. I can't share my screen because I'm currently on my phone.
Yeah,
Well,
I can't be asked to go through and find it,
No,
Luca.
it's not get
But you definitely said it.
Just type in Luke Resi, Gyökeres, and it'll
He's not going to look at it. He's looking to talk sport in it now.
Ross
Oh,
Ross
Luke
can't
talks
type
ball,
it in
whatever.
because he'll get copyrighted and his channel will get taken down.
By who? You're going to copyright me.
He will get copyrighted if my video clip comes up.
It's your video,
Luca.
You get copyrighted. That's why I didn't want to get Arteta's interview up yesterday on my channel. So I had
Wait,
to
what is it? Luca talks ball, Gyökeres 80 million.
A
Yeah.
year ago, is that when it was? Big up Lila in the chat. Lila, I swear you're that guy from Retro.
Arsenal linked with Gyökeres 85 million.
Yeah, and I swear, he said.
Hello everyone, and
Play it. Let's play it. Let's get the screen up.
No, we're not getting the bloody screen up. Seeing as you said it was copyright, we're not getting the screen up. Are you mad?
on social media. So I want to get your initial. I think.
Oh, Luca, you had this other guy on there, man. I don't even know what his name is. My bad.
Oh,
Yeah, but you did, bro. You definitely said it, mate. You definitely said
I
it.
can't remember if I did.
But
anyway,
back to what you were saying. I forgot what you were saying now, Luca.
something about Gyökeres. Look, I'd 100% will take him at Arsenal.
Now you would, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But not
I've liked him since Coventry, to be fair.
not Setback.
Yeah. Right, we're gonna move on because I didn't realize how
Yeah, thank God.
I didn't realize how late it is. We're going on for an hour. What I wanted to do with everyone is, and Luca, I'm sure you can get involved with this as well, mate. We're doing some. Basically, I've got a tier list to do, right?
Oh, tier list.
And it's end of the season, like awards. So we've got player of the season, young player, most underrated, game of the season, goal of the season, most improved player,
Have we talked
overrated.
about the game yet?
In honor
I
of
can
our
see
left
it,
back.
though.
In honor
Who?
of our left back,
We-
Josh. In honor of our left back, can we not call this a tier knee list?
Yeah, Dom, love that. Big up Dom, mate. Big up Dom.
Shocking
let's
joke.
go. Big up
We
him.
talked about the Newcastle game yet. Have I missed that?
Oh no, we haven't. You know, we haven't.
Oh, we qualified for the Champions League. That's all that
Well, it
matters.
doesn't really
Next
matter,
game.
does
We got second again, ole ole, for 3 years in a row, Luca.
Yeah.
That's what we can talk about the Newcastle game. But no, let's move to this. So,
And Josh met Neto, and that was it.
oh mate, I met Neto Luca, by the way, mate. My favorite player now, by the way.
Yeah.
I really hope we get him on a permanent deal. Hold on a minute. Haven't I been crying out? You guys, Dom, Rory, that you know this. I've been crying out for this guy to start games in the dead rubber games. You said no,
Yeah.
Ray's in goal. I've always rated Neto Luca, always, mate, and I finally got to Neto. So.
Neto's the player of the season, definitely.
100%, mate.
Neto's
100%. But yeah, I mean, we've got the whole squad here. Let's start with the player of the
Are we only
season.
allowed one person per box?
Yeah. I think that's how it's going to work. And then I've done honorable mentions. So any other players you want to shout out, you can put down below if they don't make it in this one, basically. But player of the season, guys, I think there's been a few definitely contenders. I'll start with, go on then, Luca, kick us off. Who's your player of the season, would you say, bro?
Player of the season has to be Declan Rice.
Declan Rice. Good shout. Any other contenders for you, or is it just Declan Rice?
Maybe Jurrien Timber, maybe.
Yeah, that's a great shot.
Rice, Timber for me, I agree. I'll ask Dom. Dom, who would be your player of the season, mate?
I'm not having Rice because I thought he was disappointing in the first sort of half of the season.
Yeah.
But I think if you're talking about post Christmas, then I think Declan Rice has been very, very good. For me, it's Jurrien Timber. No question.
Okay.
I was gutted when Luca just said that. Timber's my player of the season. I think he's been excellent. I think the way he's recovered back from the injury. This is essentially his first season in the Premier League. I know technically it's his second, but he played 47 minutes last year. I just think he's come in. He's taken the spot from one of the best right backs in the league, and Ben White is going to struggle to get it back. Jurrien Timber for me.
Yeah, that's a brilliant.
Really good shout there.
Well, he's also one of the few. He's missed the fewest games as well out of most of the players.
Yeah, exactly, man. And he came back from ACL as well, considering that as well. But yeah, Rory, who's your player this season, mate?
I think it narrows down to 3: Timber, Rice, and then I would just shade Gabriel if I'm being honest.
Yes.
Because I just think, yes, I know he's had an injury, but over the course of the season, I reckon he's been more consistent. I reckon Timber and Gabriel are consistent over the course of the season, but Gabriel, the threat he brings from set pieces and how vital he is as well, in terms of preventing transitions and that, for me, he's much nailed on player of the season.
Yeah.
I reckon it will be, as Lucas said, Declan Rice because of the Gabriel injury. But if this was,
I'm with you,
from my point of view, I would say Gabriel.
I'm with you, Rory. I think if Gabriel hadn't got injured, he would have been the one I would have said 100%. I think he was excellent.
Yeah, but my other two were obviously Declan, but I'm going to give it to Gabriel because...
Anyone thinking Party at all?
I was about to say that. I said, anyone saying Party?
Party?
I'm not, but I'm just,
He's for me in the honourable... In fact, no, he isn't for me. You know what? I'm going to save it until get on to,
Okay, another tier, yeah. I think for me, I think there's some great shouts in there. I think any of them could have got it. Timber, Rice, what Lucas said. Gabriel for me would have been mine, or Party.
Yeah,
those two for me. I'm gonna just because I don't
Your
know.
show.
My show, yeah. For me, I know it's now, mate. It's now, of course it is. I know he's been injured and he got the injury, but this tier list is shit. Where's Gabriel? Wait, how can you not include Gabriel? I had this fully prepared, and Gabriel's not even on there. You taking the piss, tier list?
Tomiyasu on
How
there
have you included Tomiyasu?
They've included Tomiyasu, but not Gabriel.
How have you included Tomiyasu, but not Gabriel? How have you included Raheem Sterling, but not Gabriel?
He's going to have to be Timber, innit?
Because Gabriel's not in here. Free Gabriel. Yeah, Timber then. God's sakes, man. I can't be asked to change it. Who made this tier list, mate? Does it say who made it? It certainly wasn't me, people, before you get on to me. This guy on Twitter. Like, go to his Twitter and say, where's Gabriel?
No, don't follow him.
Anyway, for me, Gabriel, but yeah, I hear it, Timber. Let's go with young player then next. I think
I think
there's
this is pretty obvious. To
pretty
be honest.
obvious one.
Yeah,
Miles Lewis
yeah.
Kelly, guys.
definitely.
Miles Lewis Kelly.
Lewis Kelly.
I think Nwaneri could have been up there, but he's not played enough, has he? To be honest with you.
Yeah, definitely.
Miles Lewis Kelly as well. If you said to anyone at the start of the season who's going to have the better season, Nwaneri or Miles Lewis Kelly, everyone and their mother would have said Nwaneri. Nobody saw Miles Lewis Kelly come in this season, including most right wingers.
Where is he?
Or Dan Burn.
My God. They've not included
this fraud, mate. This absolute fraud, including Lewis Kelly as well. Oh, for flip's sakes.
Should we just go down and we've got the things there,
We'll
right?
skip
We can
this
just go
one.
down without the picture.
They're really trying desperately to include Neto.
Piss me off. I didn't make it, man. You act like I made this tier list. I did not make it. I need to change the writing. I promise you guys, man. I'm not making this no tier list.
We
I
just
found
go
it on
down. We don't need to
Tier
worry
Maker.
about the pictures. We go
So
down.
I think everyone knows his young player will be Lewis Kelly anyway. All right.
Yeah, it's Skelly, 100%.
Most underrated player this season, guys, for Arsenal. I think again there's a few for me, but I'll start with you, Dom. Most underrated player for you.
You bugger. I'm gonna go for Jakob Kivior.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
That's not bad
people
shout.
were writing him off after that, that error against Crystal Palace and what have you. And I said at the time, well, they were big errors. It's incredibly hard, particularly coming in at centre half, or I think that and goalkeeper to come in cold when you haven't played a game in ages is really hard. And I felt that that wasn't his level, and he was better than that. And I think the way he's come in, and I know we didn't get to the final of the Champions League, but he played a big part in that quarter-final and semi-finals. I thought he played well again at the weekend. From what I've heard, I didn't see the game because I was at a junior football tournament all day, but a lot of people said he played well again at the weekend. I think he's been really consistent since he came in for Gabriel. Like, obviously he's not Gabriel, but the drop-off has not been anywhere near what people thought it would be, and that's why it's Jakob Kivior for me.
That actually probably would have been mine as well, as underrated this season. He's really set
That's
up.
a decent shout, but I've not gone with Kiwi.
You've gone with Raheem, haven't you?
Raheem Dream.
Fuck off.
No, he's gone with Neto.
Yeah, just sticking in Neto and to move on. I'm going with Partey.
Partey, yeah, fair enough.
He has to be included in this tier list somehow. I think he's been brilliant, and I reckon he's overhated as well. He has been our best midfielder this season. Yeah, Declan Rice since January has been outstanding, but I reckon over the course of the season, Thomas Partey's been our best midfielder, and no one's really. I reckon he's been overlooked, to be honest. I really do, because Declan Rice is getting the plaudits, whereas he's quietly doing his business.
Yeah,
and he is pretty much perfect for how we want to play out from the back, especially when you've got Raya as well. That would be
hold on. Sorry, Lewis Kelly is here, bro. It's my fucking eyes. Sorry. Let's get him in there. Sorry, my bad. Sorry, as you were saying, bro. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just about to say, might need some contact lenses, bro.
I'm like,
you might actually be able to see like what Super Mick is doing.
Did you see what Martinelli said when he did that drawing thing with fucking Arsenal?
Yeah,
that was class, mate. He was like, "Oh shit, I can't see. I need some contacts or something." But yeah, Lewis Kelly's there.
Yeah, I'm saying Partey, and he is, by the way, in this tier list. So,
you, Luca, who's your underrated player this season, mate? Most
underrated player. I'd probably have to say maybe Thomas Partey, maybe.
Partey as well.
Partey.
Anyone going for Mikel Merino?
Merino's a good
player. That's a good one, Dom. That's a good one. Merino's a good shout. I would. It's between Kivior and Partey, but then Merino. He's just said Merino as well.
I think it's Partey due to the fact like one's overlooking him, and
I hear
Merino,
that as
to
well.
be fair, he started in he started playing up top from February onwards, and he was a squad player before then. So
Well, I think that's what makes him
I'd say
overrated, right? I mean, for me, I think Thomas Partey, I've always thought the level he's been this season is his level. I think it's been the injuries that have sort of let him down. So I don't think he's, for me, he's never been underrated, right? Because I've always thought Thomas Partey's a good player. The reason, my issue with Partey, I mean, he can be sloppy at times when he hasn't played consistently. But my issue with Partey is his injuries, which he didn't have before he came here. You know, I'm not faulting the transfer at all, but that's been my issue. I've always rated Thomas Partey. But, you know, Kivior and Moreno are the ones that sort of, they come in for a lot of flack, right? And that's why for me, that for me is a definition of underrated rather than anything else. But you're absolutely right. Thomas Partey's had a season that not necessarily a lot of people saw coming. And I think that could also be the definition of underrated. I think it's a personal thing, right?
It just wouldn't make sense to me, right, if Partey comes from his ad, no injuries, and we just let him go for free. That's it. Later.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would extend this deal. I think he's been one of our most consistent players, as I said, all season.
Yeah.
Obviously, like when he's not playing right
Partey's
back. But again, he's not really done too bad at right back, in all fairness to him. It's just he isn't at right back, and it hinders, you know, like what we've got in midfield.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. I think that's a good.
When he's playing at right, we're having to play bloody Marino in there with Rice in 6, who's having to cover 2 positions. It just when Partey's in there, he is so important.
And Lewis Kelly did get young players
instrumental.
here because Sky Sports had a prediction with Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher, whoever was in the studio. Skelly was voted young player of the year, and they gave it to Arnold Slot.
Arnold Slot.
Arnold Slot.
Oh, what young?
Trent,
Why did Slot
Trent
win young
Arnold
player?
Slot.
Why did Slot win young player of the year?
No, Slot got manager of the year.
I know.
Like, look at his names are so funny.
For me, with Slot, yes, he fully deserved it, but I'm not surprised. I'm a bit surprised the Forest manager wasn't mentioned.
I think that, yeah, I don't like this. The side that wins a title will automatically get manager of the year. For me, Nuno is definitely manager of the year for me. And if it's not him, it's got to be Eddie Howe. I mean, surely it's got, you know.
Yeah.
Because I'm with Luca on this. And by the way, Arnie Slot's full name is Arnold Slot, so he is correct.
Oh, is he actually?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Fair play, Luca. Hey, do
Hey,
you know what?
all you people in the chat saying for these 60, 70, 80 people watching, right? You telling me that I can't pronounce names? I can now,
I mean,
can't you? You know
don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong, Luca. You know, Arnie Slot is where he goes by, but. And by the way, I was also only joking.
Wait, isn't?
No, I know. I was joking.
Wait, no, it isn't.
What happened? Sorry, Luca.
What?
So sorry.
Wait, Dom. Wait, what?
I was joking. I was
You
messing around.
joking?
It is Arnie Slot, not Arnold.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
I beg someone clips that. I beg someone clip that, people, mate. That was
Sorry,
Oh,
sorry,
that,
gents. I
please.
couldn't resist, but all 3 of you went for that.
Oh my god.
That's
Yeah, because I just looked it up on Wikipedia and it said Aaron Margin Arnie Slot. That's his name.
Yeah.
Dom actually got us all, mate. Dom actually got us all. Jesus.
Oh my days. Hated. That is a proper bait. I can't
Man, that's
lie.
got to go
I gotta
on
give
one.
you
That's
that.
got to go on one of Roy's clips.
It's got to be Luca, your clip for that as well, mate. I can't even.
I'm gonna have to clip that.
Oh, as well as my bloody Sevilla.
Oh my god.
1 hour and 30.
Rory's going 2 for 2 tonight.
Melina, you don't even know how to say the name either, Melina. So I don't know what you're waffling about.
Luca's calling everyone out tonight. Jesus. Anyway, back to most underrated player. I'm with Dom with this one. I'm going Kivior because the circumstances of coming into that Real Madrid game, we all had a doubt, didn't we, about Real Madrid and how he's going to do. And in both the games, he was rock solid, man. And he has been really rock solid, hasn't he? You know, like since he's came into minutes, which I've been, you know what, fair play to the guy.
Kivior has to be up there because the thing with Kivior, look, since Gabriel got injured, I really thought, are we going to be able to cope without Gabriel? And then Kivior came in against Real Madrid in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, and he put in 2 masterclass performances. Okay, in the semi-final, everyone was not great in the semi-final. Like, I can't name any player was good in the semi-final. But I think Kivior has to be up there with one of the underrated players, because what he's done, he's gone and actually deserved another contract at Arsenal. Like he's good to keep the squad there. I still think we do need another potential centre back, right, in the summer as a backup. But Kivior's done very well. Okay, yes, that's not Saliba's partnership. We know that Saliba and Gabriel is the partnership. Saliba doesn't play well with Kivior, but I think Kivior's done really well since this season.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Melina, you're right.
Yeah.
Kivior,
I mean, for me, in the Kiwior, it's kind of a win-win situation. With these performances, that could increase his value drastically. So we could perhaps get at least 3 million, 30 or 40 million.
It's what I was talking about earlier. It's why I think
Yeah.
Kivior, if he wants to go, I mean, even whether he wants to go or not, I think you've got to consider selling him because his value is at max right now. You get 30 million. If you get 30 million for him and say get Hato for 50 million, I don't know what he's worth right now. You know, that's 20 million, but that's a significant upgrade, right? And I think that's affordable with the way the transfers work, right? If Kivior will go back to being a bench option because Gabriel will come in and his value will plummet again.
Yeah.
Bro, this is what happens when you actually play him in his natural position. This is what happens when you don't use him as, you know,
The left
a
back.
hybrid.
Well, again, I think that was sort of a needs must, wasn't it? In terms of like,
No, it really wasn't, to be honest.
I think that's where he played last season there, but I can't remember who was fit and who wasn't at the time, so I may well be
No,
mistaken.
neither could I, but it's still like, did we not have? I was going to say Tierney, but it was on loan last season. I keep forgetting.
I think Zinchenko was injured at the time, wasn't he?
Was Tomiyasu fit?
Can't remember.
Didn't he play against Bayern Munich, Tomiyasu? Second leg.
No, he didn't. No, he had to play left back against Bayern.
I mean, if Tomiyasu was fit, then presumably Tomiyasu would play. Like,
I remember Tomiyasu playing in like a green kit against Bayern. I swear he played. He must play that.
But Kiwior played the first leg.
Yeah, definitely. It must be something like that, to be fair.
And again, like perhaps it actually, I don't know, it integrates players into their natural positions. They may be decent. I mean, like we saw at the weekend, Kiwi Fiori. That's terrible.
Kiwi Fiori.
But yeah, when Calafiori played left centre back, he looked decent.
Yeah, I think that's his natural position.
Do you remember? Was it his first ever game he played for Arsenal? Kiwior against, was it Chelsea? The 3-0 win.
Yeah, Chelsea.
Where was that his first? Was that his debut as centre back?
Yeah, that was his debut. No, it was Sporting.
Was it Sporting in Europa League?
But his Premier League.
Premier League debut was against Chelsea, and he looked really good in that one.
Yeah, Chelsea.
Looked really good, and people was like, you know what, this guy could be alright. And then sort of, I think he got moved to like left back that season. He got a bit done up by Porto.
Yeah,
you know,
the inverted left back thing as well.
Yeah, he's definitely not a left back at all. And I can't think he was fit, but I can't believe that we'd have played him there if Tomiyasu was fit. Like I'd genuinely be astounded if we did that. That would be beyond stupid.
Let me check who. I swear that Bayern game when they done us 1-0, it was Tomiyasu and Kiwior.
Yeah, it was Tomiyasu. Because Ben White played right back, Tomiyasu played left back.
Yeah.
Anyway, should we go for game of the season?
Sorry, game of the season.
I mean, it's pretty obvious.
Game of the season, we already know.
What, Real Madrid? Yeah.
Yeah.
What one though? Home or second leg or away leg? Because kind of Bernabeu.
I'm saying home leg.
Okay.
I've got a different game for you.
I know. Oh, I mean, I know beating Real Madrid away at the Bernabeu is right, but at home, I don't think anyone expected us to win that game. It's all the odds. 3-0 as well.
I never expected it at the time.
Nor did I. But again, 2 free kicks in it, and the manner we did,
Josh,
we completely bullied
should we
them.
rewind the Real Madrid previews?
No.
But
Let's not, please. Let's please not rewind that, please.
but if we're talking Premier League, then it's Man City, obviously. The 5-1.
Yeah, Premier League
But
wise.
over the course of the season, it's Real Madrid for me.
Yeah, so to back them 5-1 was mad. What's your? I mean, Luca, you're Real Madrid, but Dom, you got a different game. You said.
Yeah. It was in the depths of winter. We were at the bottom of despair, and we went to a game.
Peter Jurrien.
We went, yeah. I wish, you know, and Arsenal needed a result, and then we played Everton. I'm joking. It's definitely got to be the Real Madrid games. God, those Everton games were dull. Yeah,
Yeah.
Real Madrid at home, right? Oh, I know the win away was special, but I think that was somewhat. Real Madrid had to come out, and I think that sort of allowed us slightly. It made it a slightly easier game because of the way Real Madrid had to play. So for me, it's Real Madrid at home, and you know, Rory's right there in the Premier League. It's a win against City.
What about the PSV game? 7-1 in the first leg.
Yeah, PSV. That was a
I
really
mean,
good
most of these are going to come in the Champions League, aren't
Sporting
they?
as well.
Sporting.
Sporting 5-1.
Yeah.
I think the obvious criticism of PSV is it was PSV, but that was a Champions League away record in the knockout. So you know you can talk about PSV not being of the caliber, but you know I think that's a worthy inclusion. But I don't think it tops Real Madrid for me.
Nah, Real Madrid is Real Madrid.
I just think it's like the manner we did PSV that night. I mean, we had pretty much a front three of Waneri, Marino, and Trossard, I believe, and we dispatched them 7-1 in the first leg.
Yeah.
Well, that and we were all saying where the goal's coming from, and then suddenly,
exactly. Goal of the season, guys.
We were all right to be criticising it.
Yeah, goal of the season, guys. Is it obvious? Is it Rice's free kicks?
I mean,
what ones?
What one of Rice's free kicks? I'd say second one.
I say Rice's free kick.
Which one?
The second one. That's probably.
I mean, I know what you're going to say, Josh.
What, Calafiori?
I know which one you're going to say.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
I was going to say that, Josh. Calafiori's goal.
Yeah, brilliant goal.
What a goal. Against Man City, yeah, he had.
Yeah, from outside the box.
Yeah.
He had Man
Calafiori
City.
For me is going to be mine, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, seriously. I mean, Rice's free kicks were something, you know, excellent. But you know, you've got time to line that up, work out where you're hitting it. But Calafiori is, you know, it's in open play. There's no thought process there. No one's expecting Rice's free kicks either. But for me, it was Calafiori because I just think that's the technique on that was sensational. And I'm taking nothing away from Rice. Of course, a free kick requires great technique. But for me, it's Calafiori's goal.
And he's going straight in.
I'm trying to see how many more I can get Josh to pick of my shouts by going through his favourite players.
Luca, what's your goal of the season, mate?
Probably Declan Rice against Real Madrid.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the second one is the best free kick I've ever seen, to be honest.
Yeah.
Nah, Roberto Carlos free kick. That one where it...
Well, yeah, but in my lifetime.
Oh, right. Yeah, all right. You calling me old again? In fairness, I called myself old several times tonight. So
David Beckham against Greece. Van Persie against Fulham.
Damn, Luca, I don't even remember them, bro.
Beckham against Greece, actually, that was significant because Luca, was that 92nd minute of the game? And we had to score to qualify. And he banged it in at Old Trafford.
Yeah, 0-1.
Messi's free kick against Liverpool.
Oh, that was a good one.
I mean, that's one of them.
Alexis Sanchez's free kick against Liverpool.
Alexis against Liverpool?
14-15. We won 4-1 at the Emirates.
No, that was a free kick, Luca.
Wasn't it not?
That was Ozil.
Oh, Ozil.
That was Ozil who scored the free kick.
Oh,
Sanchez scored. Well, he didn't score a free kick. That was Ozil.
Oh, shit.
All right.
Fake fan.
Most improved player this season. I'll start with you, Luca.
Most improved player has to be probably Ethan Wanyeri, if we want to count him.
Wanyeri, okay.
Wanyeri, really.
Most improved player. Okay, you got Wanjeri. What about you, Rory?
I'm saying Raya.
Raya. Okay. Dom.
It's a tough one. This one, I'm thinking on it.
Yeah, it is.
I think if it was over a full season, if it was over half a season, I'd almost be Martinelli, wouldn't it? After the last sort of 18 months of struggle, but I think it's got to be one of the two youngsters, isn't it? I mean, Miles Lewis-Skelly has got, I'm not sure how you can say most improved because we haven't seen him before.
Oh, wait,
And similar with Wanjeri.
Josh there. Look.
Fucking hell, I'm fucking blind. He's actually doing a flipping Gykeres celebration, mate. Ah, you mug. All right, I'm sorry, Jurrien, mate. I'm sorry, but
You're out.
I'm sorry, Dom. I know Jurrien was your pick, but he's gone.
What happens if I replace my shout for best player of the season with Kieran Tierney?
You go straight in, bro.
Do you know what? I mean, I'm sort of talking about the two youngsters, but it's hard to sort of say most improved given that we didn't really know what they were before the season. So I think David Raya is a really, really good shout.
I'd actually go with Mika Marino.
Yeah,
but I'm going to go with my shout being, since he's come off player of the season now, Jurrien Timber.
Okay.
I mean, he's genuinely in the conversation for one of the best right backs in the world, which he definitely wasn't when he arrived.
Yeah, I mean, if we're not going to include Party in, the most underrated player, I'd almost argue him or Raya.
I think Raya's a good shout, to be fair.
Not Marino.
Between Raya and Party for me. Marino.
Because look, he was shit. He was shit in the midfield, but then striker, he's done his thing, ain't he?
I mean, I've always
go on, Roy.
I've always classed, the most improved player category as like, last season not special, but this season he's kicked on.
I take the same approach as Rory, which is why I sort of half discounted the two young players because we didn't see him last season, right? I think for me, Moreno, we're talking about him settling in early on, and obviously he got a lot of criticism. But my argument always was, look, there's no way he's as bad as player as he is at the moment. You don't play for Spain in that Euros team. You don't. Real Sociedad might not be one of the best teams in the world, but basically my point being he was struggling early on, but I think a lot of that was he missed pre-season and he was adapting, back to England. I think we'll see. Mikel Moreno is going to be a squad player, nothing more than that. But I think I find it hard to. I think he was never as bad as he was in the first half of the season, but I find it hard to sort of give him most improved because he's done really well up front. I think he's done really, really well. He's worked really, really hard, but I think he's probably also got a tad lucky with the amount of goals he scored too.
True.
But I also just never thought Moreno was as bad as everyone was saying he was. I sometimes think players need a bit of time to settle.
So most improved. I'm with Dom then. If we take out Timber, I'd actually put him in most improved. But I hear it when you say about the younger players.
Yeah, and I think Raya's a good shout.
Raya as well, yeah, really good shout.
But obviously, Jurrien Timber, because it was my shout.
There we go. Most this will be interesting. I think they could maybe
people are going to think I'm an arrogant tosser. I'm really not. I am genuinely taking the piss out of myself.
Most overrated player this season. It's got to be. It's got a disappointing though. It could be him as well. Most overrated player.
I'm
gonna go Martinelli. I'm
saying Havertz for me.
Havertz, okay.
Yeah. I know he's had an injury, but still.
Dom?
I'm finding this hard to go because most overrated for me has to be someone that's massively highly rated by a lot of the fan base and hasn't put it in. I mean, Martinelli, splits opinion. Havertz splits opinion, right? And generally speaking, the truth is somewhere in between. I don't know. Come back to me in a second. Let Luca go first.
Luca, who's your most
Luca under the bus.
This is a very difficult one to say. If I had to choose, I have got two options, but I only need to pick one. I'd have to go for Kai Havertz, really. Havertz, because of the injuries, really kind of like affected him. I just feel like he's been a bit disappointed this season. Well, obviously, it's not his fault that he got injured, but still, we were expecting a bit better from Kai Havertz. And
It's not good. He's not been missing out. Don't you worry.
Yeah, see, I was
No,
looking at Odegaard the most overrated, but we know how good he is. So is he disappointing more because we know how good he can be?
He's going to be my pick for the next one.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I think with Martinelli, right? I don't think rated because most fans are always on his back.
he's a player where
He's not really had an awful season. If I'm being honest, like he scored 8 goals, 4 assists, and
he's been good in the second half of the season. Since his return from injury.
He's a player who needs a bit of confidence. He's a
confidence player. You're spot on, Luca.
Yeah.
Sorry, I said that really sarcastically. I actually meant that.
Whereas Havertz is mollycoddled. He's been mollycoddled by this fan base pretty much.
True.
So that's why I list him as overrated. I just don't see anything in him.
Yeah.
That suggests, you're a great football. You're anything. You're pretty much the replay Van Persie. You're Berbatov. Nah. That's the impressions I'm hearing.
My thing with Havertz, right, is the reason I get annoyed slightly with some of the criticism he gets is because I think it's over the top. I think Kai Havertz is a good footballer. He's a decent footballer, but I don't think he's a starter. My view when he came in was that he should be coming in to be a squad player in the side. And if he's coming in to be a squad player in the side, despite the cost, because unfortunately that's what forwards cost these days, which I find ridiculous. I always felt he was coming into. I knew he was coming in to start, but I always felt his future was going to be as a squad player. And I think that will prove to be the case by October. But and that for me is where he's at, and I've always sort of seen him in that level. My defense of Havertz comes where, I just don't agree that he can't play football and he's absolutely rubbish. I know you don't like him, Roy, and that's I 100% respect that, and I can sort of see where that argument comes from. I just don't think that's where I'm at with him. I mean, in terms of most overrated player, I think I'm going to have to go with Martinelli, but I find this a really
I agree.
difficult category because I think because we see so much of the players, we kind of when they're good, we know they're good. When they're not so good, we kind of see them differently. I find it easy to do most overrated players for other clubs because I don't see them so often, right? But I'm Martinelli for me. But I get the Havertz out. I do understand it.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go to most disappointing player, man.
You know who you are.
It's Martin
Odegaard. I think
Odegaard.
Just awful,
ever since he got that injury, he's really not been the same player. And he isn't the Odegaard where Arsenal play that free-flowing freedom football, where Odegaard isn't the player from the 2022-2023 season, and even last season as well. He's not that player, and that injury really kind of affected him. I think coming back from that game against Inter Milan, I remember at the time we were desperate for him to come back. We lacked a bit of creativity, hence why we were playing Ethan in that position. And then things weren't working. We were struggling, and even though the season's been poor in general, even when he's come back or not. But Odegaard for me is, I can't name a game where, apart from maybe the Liverpool game recently, he's done well. But I think he was poor this season. He's been the most disappointing player. And look, he has to step up, okay? Even, I know what he said in his interview. I was listening to it today, and he was saying he does admit the season was crap, right? Well, if he's saying the season's crap, we get that. Shouldn't he be saying that he's been disappointed? Of course, he's not going to say that for himself as a player. But
well, it's pretty much what he's saying, isn't it?
Yeah, he said, I think it was against PSV when we beat them 7-1. He said that he's not been good enough this season.
But he needs to step up. He really needs to step up.
Well, that's what he's saying, right?
But he's already said that he's not been good enough this season. He's already admitted that.
But the thing with Odegaard is, I just feel like if he's come out and admitted and said, and I didn't even know that, but majority, I just feel like pressure's going to get to him. Because will Arsenal need to look for as a position of an Odegaard? Will Arsenal have to look at an alternate, look at other positions? I think maybe for the future. Right now, look, he's already going to be captain for next season. It's all but confirmed, right? But majority, I don't want him to be captain. We need Declan Rice to be captain. And hence why if you pay your most money, right, and if you're very good enough to be a captain, you should be the captain. And this is why I think Odegaard needs to be strict. Don't get me wrong, Odegaard with his guidance and that is all right. But as a captain on the pitch, he's rubbish. And this is why I just feel like this season coming up in 12 weeks' time, Odegaard, for me, needs to step up. I think for me, he needs to end up, give him a rest against Southampton. We don't need his creativity against Southampton. I would literally just let him have a few weeks off the holiday, get him ready for pre-season when Arsenal go to Hong Kong.
I mean, I think just on Martin Odegaard, right? I think, he said he's had a poor season. We all know it. And we all understand why he was rushed back from injury because we needed that creativity. I think probably I wouldn't be prioritising a backup for him this season as a number 10 directly. I think Wanyeri or Havertz will probably come in there. What I think he does need support with is an extra creative body from deeper. And that's where I'm a big fan of Eze, because I think that sort of, when Arsenal need a goal, we know we're going to look to get the ball into that right-hand side, Odegaard, Saka, and it allows team to sort of put extra defenders over that side and challenge Arsenal to go down the other side. I think an Eze at left 8, just as an example, I think that will allow more space for Odegaard, and I think it makes us less predictable. So I think that's the way you sort of take the pressure off Odegaard. But for me, I think he has been affected by that injury or the baby or just a lack of confidence, or whatever it is. But he's undoubtedly been affected, and I don't know what the reason is behind it. But for me, he's been the player of the season for the last 2 seasons. Am I worried about it? Yeah, of course, because he's played poorly for 7 months. Do I think that means he's done at Arsenal and he's not going to find that form of 2 years ago and the year before again? No, I don't. I think he can return to somewhere near, if not that level again. No question about that for me. And I'm really not that bothered about the captain. I've always argued that a player like Declan Rice, can be a captain on the field, whether he's got the armband or not. Obviously I don't play anywhere near that level, but there's no point giving me the captain's armband, because if I've got it, I'm going to yell, and if I haven't got it, I'm still going to yell. And Declan Rice does that. So I'm less worried about the captain, but I think Odegaard will back. But unquestionably, he's been the most disappointing player. The other player you could have is Raheem Sterling, but I don't think anyone ever thought he was going to be more than the Reece Nelson role.
Yeah.
And therefore, he hasn't lived up to that, right? But expectations were a lot lower for him.
Yeah, most definitely, man. All right, worst game of the season. Fuck me, there's loads to pick from, if we're being honest with it, man.
Yeah, it's got to be one of the home
Everton
games for me.
home. That one.
That's one of them.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say West Ham at home.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I've gone for Everton, because that's the one I was joking about being the best game of the season earlier. The depths of winter. No. Yeah, I think either of them could be.
West Ham at home, surely.
I mean, Bournemouth away was painful as well, both.
Bournemouth away was painful, and don't get me wrong, I don't think the red card changes that game, but at least, what it did do was meant you probably stood less chance of coming back into it, which probably knocks it out of the worst game of the season. And by the way, I'm not saying we lost that game because the league was sent off.
Yeah, the Everton
just in the context of this conversation, I think that's a factor.
I mean, PSG is the obvious one.
The Carabao Cup against Newcastle, FA Cup against Man United.
Yeah.
See, in many ways, that for me is the most disappointing game of the season, that Manchester, because we had the chances to win it. We didn't actually play badly in that game. That makes it worse in some ways for me, but it certainly was nowhere near our worst performance of the season.
Yeah, West Ham for me. But I'm looking at it from the perspective of embarrassing. Right. PSG was the obvious one, because that hurt. That done me in properly mentally.
But we lost to a good side, right?
Yeah. But West Ham, we lost. I know we beat them 5-2 at their ground, but at home we lost. And 15th in the league? They've been 17th for the vast majority priority. No, you can't be losing that. That is the worst game of the season. But again, like I don't disagree with anyone else's opinion regarding that because there's been so many. Everton at home, I was tempted to throw because we didn't even flip in score, and we had our full strength.
Yeah, well, that's why for me that's the worst one, right? I mean,
Yeah,
look, over the course of a season, you'll get one, maybe two games where you lose a game or draw a game like the Everton one or the West Ham one. I think the issue this season has been too consistent, and if there's too many of them, right? You know,
I mean, Brighton at the start of the season was painful as well. When we drew 1-1 and Declan Rice got sent off, that was painful.
Yeah, it was painful ones like that, but I'm not going to put that or Bournemouth in worse for me simply because the red cards impact that game. I'm not saying that was the reason again, but for me, you could put any of them in. Like Josh has got about 10 to choose from there.
So
Yeah, there's too many, bruv, to choose from. Really, probably have to say one of the cups, man. To be honest, maybe Newcastle at home.
Newcastle at home probably the one that hurts most because we were shockingly poor.
Yeah, really poor, really poor, man.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I say West Ham is that was pretty much like the final nail in the coffin for the league title, wasn't it? I mean, I said it was over back in November based on the fact we're not winning all of our games.
Yeah,
but like February when we West Ham, that was the final nail in the coffin to me.
Yeah.
So I'm with Man City as well. Like that was a horrible weekend.
Yeah, it was a horrible weekend.
Awful.
So yeah,
absolutely.
I'll probably say West Ham if I'm being honest.
Luca, you there?
Yes, I personally think. I personally think for me.
You can see cars from different providers all in one place.
Sorry,
what the hell?
That was
Rory sponsored by trustthetrader.com.
Wait, was that Rory?
Wondered what that was.
Yeah, because I've got the I've got that up on my computer screen. Like fucking advert.
Adverts.
Yeah,
sorry, man.
you know what I did, right? It then
played an
switched
advert?
off. So I pressed the space bar, and then it ended up playing the advert.
Luca, what's your worst game of the season, mate?
Worst game of the season in the Premier League, I've got to say probably West Ham, but in the Champions League, we all know Paris Saint-Germain, because that West Ham game, I remember I was at Bradford away with MK, and I remember Arsenal, West Ham, and we lost that game 1-0, and I watched the game back, and majority of the performance was absolutely shocking, and that was one of the biggest games of shots where you're losing to West Ham at home, and we don't have a really good record against West Ham at home. Like, we've lost to West Ham at home for 2 consecutive seasons, and it was just poor. Like, we really struggled to score goals. We gave a silly goal away to concede. I just feel like even the PSG game as well, like the game, both legs, very poor. We never turned up in that Champions League game, in the biggest game of the season a few weeks ago. Partey missing the first leg. I know he was poor in the second leg as well, but we never really took our chances. And I just think those type of games were the worst game of the season.
Yeah, fair enough, man. Fair enough. All right, let's do some mentions. Some players I think obviously didn't make this, but we could put in there as well. So
definitely.
We'll go through the whole. I mean, I think Ray's got to be in there, don't he?
100%.
I mean, I think if he keeps a clean sheet against Southampton, he actually gets Golden Glove again.
Well, yeah, he will do because of goals conceded overall. But Sells could still equal him for a number of clean sheets unless it's shared.
I mean,
I think they'll share it.
I mean, I know he's been injured, but I think Saka's got to be in there based on like what he was doing before he got. The numbers he was putting up were ridiculous.
Yeah, and some of, I mean, A few questionable moments with the penalties this season, I'd say. But other than
Yeah, one of the penalties, that's for sure.
Atlanta in the Champions League was a really good save. The one against who did he save recently? PSG.
No,
Yeah,
no.
PSG
Yeah, PSG.
against
No,
Vitinha.
he missed an open.
PSG saved a penalty.
Yeah, Vitinha. Yeah. And then,
Oh no,
but then there's other
no,
ones.
Raya. My bad. I was talking about Saka, bro.
Oh no, I'm talking
We're
about
talking about Raya. Sorry.
Real.
Yeah, right. My bad. I was
On the penalties, I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
penalties.
with Real. A few dodgy penalties, but he saved some as well. To be fair, but overall, he's had a superb season once again. He's definitely in there. All right, who else goes in? Party goes in. I think we
Partey,
mentioned that
definitely.
before. Who else we got on here?
I would say Saka, to be honest.
Saka goes in, even though he's been injured.
Yeah, but his
before
numbers
his
are still
injury.
ridiculous for given his mistakes.
Rice goes in all day long. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think Marino as well. Is that Marino?
Yeah, Marino down
Marino
there, he
has
goes
to
in.
for the way
Marino
up front. I agree.
Like from February onwards. Baneri as well.
Yeah, I want him to play more, but he's been superb ever since he has played.
You know what? Does
Saliba go in?
I was just going to say, I think Gabriel's already up there, but I think Saliba Gabriel comes a tear. I think Gabriel's been the better of the two this year, unquestionably, but I think those two for me still remain the best centre half partnership in the league. Don't get me wrong, Konate and Van Dijk, very, very good, but for me, these two are still the best in the league.
I mean, this may come as like a shock to you, but I think Zinchenko's been solid this season. You know,
I called it.
Well,
he hasn't played enough for an honourable mention.
Yeah,
he's not played a lot,
not been
but when he has
bad.
played, he's done his thing, ain't he? Even in midfield,
he's
at
not
times,
let us
he's
down
been
this
all right.
season.
Yeah,
That's true. That is very true.
But I don't think he's played enough for. Well, we just give him honourable mention, but he's not getting his. He can't get his photo up on the board.
And
yeah, he's not.
You know
played
who else
enough,
I'd say as well? I'll say Tierney because he's
yeah, I agree with that one, boy.
Not just because of you, but
I think
you know.
Cheers, mate.
I've got a rogue one that shouldn't go up here for the same reason as Zinchenko, but Jack Porter.
Go on.
Came in for that Carabao Cup game as a 16-year-old boy, and you know,
kept a clean sheet.
Yeah,
Didn't he?
I think he did. I think he did. But just coming in for that game as a 16-year-old goalkeeper, I know it was lower league opposition, but it was still league opposition as a 16-year-old keeper coming in under that pressure with the pressure on Arsenal to win trophies, and mistake from him, and you go out the Carabao Cup. Like, there's a lot of pressure on him. There's my rogue shout.
Good shout. There we go. Good shout. Who else? Jorginho? I don't know.
No, he's not really. He's
not played enough, has he? But I don't think he's been bad.
Jorginho, I think for me, has been a decent signing, right? He costs very little, offers a heck of a lot off the pitch in terms of experience and coaching stuff. And when he plays on the pitch, bar that one mistake last year against, I think was it Spurs? He barely puts a foot wrong. I think he's been a decent signing. It's a shame for me that he's leaving, because if he'd stayed as sort of your fifth choice midfielder, I think that'd have been really, really good.
Yeah. Anyone else? Tomiyasu, yeah.
Why is he even on here?
Why is he even on here? Exactly.
I mean, I would say Neto, honourable mention to him for meeting Josh.
100%, mate.
I was just going to say that, Rory.
Nice fist bump he gave me as well, Neto. Thank you for that, mate. Always remember that.
Give you all for watching your videos, Josh.
Oh yeah, mate. Give you all view my story today. Everything, mate. Come on. Yeah, Tommy. Yeah, we said Saliba gets him, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think that you have to put that
partnership. He's been solid, but the thing is, right, like an honourable mention this season. Obviously, towards the end, he's sort of tailed off
a little bit, yeah.
I mean, I've just clocked as well, like Trossard.
Yeah, Trossard.
Like, it's between him and Odegaard as the most played this season.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Trossard's fallen off massively, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, you thought he'll continue because he had that goal against Villa, didn't he? At the start of the season.
I mean, he's always been. So I think it's because obviously he was relied on
I thought he,
pretty much starting games.
I thought he played well the other day though. Yesterday was it yesterday? Yeah.
It was all right. I mean, a few missed
But
passes
when you
here
play
and
him
there,
centrally, it just doesn't work for me.
yeah,
Trossard, no, I've always felt he's best off the left.
Yeah.
yeah.
Havertz, nah, he don't, does he? Not at all.
Nah.
To be
I
honest with
think
you.
I think if he'd stayed fit for the whole season, I think he would have got over 20 goals, and at that point you can put him in, but not when
I
he's
mean,
missed half a
it's-
season.
Yeah, he scored 15 goals in all competitions, which isn't terrible, but again,
It's 1 in 2 when he's played up front, basically.
yeah, he's got us knocked out of the
FA Cup.
Carabao Cup.
The
Yeah,
FA
the
Cup.
FA Cup, the Carabao Cup with that miss against Newcastle. It wasn't just him, by the way, it was Odegaard, hence he's the most disappointing player category, but yeah, like
Yeah, I agree. He doesn't
It's
doesn't
like-
go in here. Had he stayed fit for the whole season, he gets 25 goals, which he probably would have got. Then you can probably put him in
I
there.
don't know about that, to be honest.
Well, we got 15 in the first half.
I was thinking a bit
If
too
you
far.
extrapolate it out, he gets nearly 30. But I think 25 would have been about where it would have been. But well,
I think that's a bit of a stretch.
oh no, that's what I'm saying. That's why I've downgraded it from but he didn't stay fit. He was only fit for half a season. That's why he can't go in honourable mentions.
Yeah. Again, another injury player, Ben White. I don't think gets in.
No.
Jesus, bro. I remember the Palace
He was
games.
to the point of his injury. He would have been in there.
Yeah, but he played dire before he scored those goals against Palace.
Yeah, but I reckon because of the goals he was scoring at the time, would have actually continued that from now to the end of the season.
If he'd continued, definitely. But I think it would be an if, right? It's a bit like the Havertz thing. It's an if.
He's probably got to go as well, don't he, man? In the summer.
Well, he can't. No one's going to buy him.
Havertz,
Well, this is a thing, yeah.
He's
who's
injured.
going to want to buy him? Yeah.
Well, no, he's injured until he's injured until nearly Christmas. So no one's taking him. The best hope you've got is in January that someone takes him. And at that point, I feel like I said, I think we discussed it a few weeks ago. It's like you might as well just keep him for the last 5 months in case you get an injury, right, or something like that, because you're going to get nothing for him. And it's a shame what's happened to him with his injuries. To be fair, because he was looking such a good signing before the World Cup where he got that knee injury.
Yeah, he was excellent.
It's a signing I can't fault because you couldn't predict the seriousness of that knee injury, but you can't also put him down as success because of the number of injuries he's had. Which has sort of ruined his career. It's just one of those unfortunate things.
Yeah.
I mean, I would actually put Tomiyasu in the honourable mentions just
for the wrong reasons.
Just an honourability of him actually staying alive.
Tomiyasu should not be on there, man. I don't understand why he's on there.
Luca, thoughts on Tomiyasu, mate?
Get rid.
Get rid.
Because the trouble is he's made out of glass. The injuries have not helped him, so he needs to be sold in the summer.
There's no way. It's the same as Jesus. There's no way you can sell Tomiyasu in the summer. Who's buying him? He's injured until Christmas, and he's missed the entire season through injury. It's just you're not going to get a buyer for him. It's not going to happen.
But under 21.
It's a shame because he's a bloody good player.
I'll tell you what. He can play right back, right centre half, left centre half, and left back to a very good standard. But his problem is he's injured.
He would have been beneficial this season,
Yeah, hugely.
You would have been fundamental, 100%.
Well, what about his contract though? Jesus's.
He's out of contract next summer, isn't he?
Go for free.
Is it this summer?
Yeah, no, next summer.
Oh, next summer. Okay.
That's why by the time you get to January, that's the earliest you're going to sell him because no one's going to buy him before that. You just see it out at that point, because you're going to get so little for him in January.
Yeah, true, man. And what about Tomiyasu's contract?
I think that might be out this next summer. I think he signed a 2-year deal and then got injured.
Oh, there we go.
I wonder though,
Uh,
with
Yeah,
Tommy
let me just
Asu,
double
if he
check.
stays fit from January onwards, I wonder if you offer him a new 1+1, and that way, if someone comes in for him, you make a bit of money rather than lose him on a free. I don't know, but he's got to stay fit first before we have that conversation.
yeah, he's got to stay fit.
2026, so it's next summer.
Is that for Tommy Asu?
Yeah, because he signed a new deal last year, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm. That's what I thought he did as well.
Raheem Sterling, guys.
Raheem Sterling gets nothing. One goal. One goal.
You know what? You should create his own category.
Raheem Sterling.
Look, everyone's saying you're falling asleep.
Yeah, I am. Melina, you had to ruin it. Right. No wonder. Right.
Are you in bed?
Yeah. Different location. This is hilarious. Different location. Now, I've got to say, Raheem Sterling, mate, only one goal he scored against a League One club, the Bolton Wanderers. Apart from that, he's been the worst sign. He's been a lot worse than William. Not going to lie.
Worst signing's got to be Kim Kallstrom, surely. We signed him.
What,
No,
we got bad back?
yeah.
I'll tell you what, Josh, if I'd make him his own category.
Call it what? What do you call it?
Make another category of Raheem Sterling.
What should we call it,
Yeah,
Luca, then?
It's his very own category.
Call it
Disaster category.
Call it the worst flop.
Nah, just Raheem Sterling, innit? Because that's his own category.
But the logic behind Sterling kind of made sense, which was you send Reece Nelson out on loan, right? But you do that's quality. You know, you bring in Sterling to replace Nelson, and you hope that Nelson has a great season at Fulham. You sell him this summer for 20 million or something, and you send Sterling back, but it's definitely not worked out. I mean, that was surely Arsenal's logic, but you know,
yeah,
it definitely hasn't worked out that way.
But quite frankly, I would rather have Reece Nelson than Sterling.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you look at it then, but if you look at it back in August, you know, now Sterling was coming off for a 15 goal and assist season at Chelsea. I mean, no one thought he was going to do that at Arsenal. And you get Nelson playing regularly at Fulham. That was the hope, but it definitely hasn't worked out that way for either Nelson or Sterling.
Don't worry, guys. He has one league game left to match Norbert Neto's goal tally. So in Raheem we trust.
Raheem the Dream.
Oh man,
you can do it, man.
Maybe Arteta. Well, it'll be Albert, won't it? Because maybe he's gonna do a Stuart Pearce and get an outfield shirt printed up for Neto and send on Neto up front like David James was sent on by Stuart Pearce back in the day. Neto goes and back.
Neto's got to start for me against Southampton. I'll say that now.
Yeah, Neto has to start.
Surely he's got to start, mate. It's his last game for Arsenal ever.
I mean, I would play Sterling just so he can overtake Norbert Neto in the league this season. So that's what I would.
Oh my days. But yeah, that's that. That is the
breaking news, by the way, on Nico Williams, who we obviously know is an Arsenal target. Barcelona say they are out of the race for Nico Williams. They have other priorities.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's that from? Fabrizio?
Yeah. 6 minutes
Oh,
ago.
Josh, you've got to go live.
We're live now, you.
Never. You've got to go live again. Breaking news. Do it as a pre-report. 10 minutes.
Oh, mate.
The viewers.
You can tell this guy's definitely asleep.
The viewers are waiting.
It's 11:30 at night, Luca.
No one's gonna watch, and then you're just gonna scream down the face of your camera. No one's fucking watching.
Hold on, let me find it.
Got 5 bloody Snapchat stories, bruv.
Oh, Luca needs Snapchat stories. I'm mad. He's
There's
got his
no
whole life story on there.
excuses. It can be done. Can we have at least 100 people
Take over the
watching?
channel.
35 past 11 at night.
Oh, what's his name? Their president said it. Is it their president? Laporta.
Yeah, Laporta. Yeah, that's right.
He said we valued Nico's potential signing last summer with Danny Elmo, but now I think we're valuing other players. So there we go. Interesting there. Yeah, that's that. That's the tier list done. Let's quickly end by score prediction for Southampton on the weekend because we won't talk about it. So I'm gonna go 5-0, but
4-0.
4-0.
That was my score prediction.
Which one? 4 or 5?
I'm going 4-0.
Yeah, 5. 5-0 I'm going to go for.
I'm going 4.
Dom's going 1-0.
No, I'm going 4-0.
I was going 4-0 as well. Okay. And can we all agree that Neto can be in goal for this game, please?
Yeah.
Lineup wise.
If those we're on the pitch,
The lineup what I'll go for Southampton would be probably
Wait, no, that's not the chant, is it?
no.
If Neto scores, we're on the pitch. Yeah, that's
Neto
it.
scores. I'm on the pitch. Neto scores. I'm on the pitch. My lineup I'll go for before we wrap up. Neto in goal, right? Defense would have to be. Well, Saliba's out for the Southampton game, so majority.
Wait, yeah. How about his Sleeper's injury, by the way?
He needs to.
Yeah. Do you want to hear my lineup then? Norbert Neto in goal.
Yeah.
Right back.
Dom at centre back.
Yeah, I was going to get on to him. Yeah, I'm going to go Josh at right back. Dom.
I'm a left back, bro. I can't play right back. I'm not versatile, bro. I'm not inverted like that. I'm a left back, bro.
But you know, you got to invert, guys. You got to invert. You got to invert. Inversion is the best policy, guys. So yeah, right back. Then we'll go
White, Kivior, Calafiori, Kieran Tierney.
Yeah, we'll go Calafiori, just for vibes. And
Calafiori, the right-sided centre back, presumably, rather than Kivior.
yeah, and then left back go Pedro Neto. Midfield we'll go obviously Charlie Patino. Got to make it in there.
Up front, we'll go win the dog.
Yeah.
I think Albert should be player manager.
Nicholas Jova left wing.
Oh yeah, Nicholas Jova, yeah.
He's on corners, right?
He is. I'd go with midfield. What my lineup would be, I'd go with Neto in goal.
Yeah.
Right back Ben White, left back Kieran Tierney. I swear to God, if this manager does not play Kieran Tierney in his final game, hold your shame, Arteta. But no, Kieran Tierney at left back. Centre half will have to be Kivior and Calafiori. Midfield will have to be Jorginho, Ethan Wanyama, Mika Moreno is back now. Then up front will be Havertz. Then I'll go for Trossard and Martinelli.
Nah, I disagree. It's got to be win the dog up front. Nicholas Jova left. It's got to be Airport Albert right wing.
Airport Albert.
It's got to be Don Palmer centre half.
Don Palmer.
Alongside. Ooh, who can we play alongside?
There's only one man.
Who?
We've got to get Pascal Sigan out of retirement.
Oh yeah. We got to stick with Luka Talks. Nah, you know what? Luka Talks ball. You can play midfield.
You can be bench Luka Talks ball, mate.
I'll come on and get the win, yeah, and everybody will be gassed.
Everyone will hype up Luka like he's a good player when he's shit in reality.
Well, I'll go and join for Holbridge. So
yeah. But the back four I will go with obviously Josh right back. I'd go Don Palmer side Taki at centre.
Taki,
Taki be lucky to play football, mate. Taki be lucky to play football.
Have you seen Taki football skills?
They're not great.
They're not good. You just said they're not good. Oh no, they're good, man.
Man asked Q&A, by the way, on your community post. Oh, do you like my football skills, John?
No.
Taki was on my watch along yesterday.
Yeah? Was it good?
It was all right.
But we won.
Yeah, we did.
So what's wrong? Was it? Oh, why is it all right? We won.
No, with Taki coming on.
Oh, with Taki coming on.
Oh, right.
He kept changing the subject.
Oh, did he?
I bet it was fuming.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Luca, you were fuming. You was ranting after the game.
Well, yeah, because I'm not happy with second place.
Well, none of us are.
None of us are, but it's just the way Arteta said in his press conference. It kind of made me angry.
Which part made you angry?
With Arteta saying about, oh, next year will be the year. I'm happy with the progress. Oh, we picked up more points than Liverpool. Oh, you know what the excuse is going to be for Arteta now? Now Liverpool can't finish with 89 points. People talk about, right, 90 points is to win the league. Liverpool going to win the league with 86 points. That is the lowest Premier League points tally since 15-16 season when Leicester won the league title.
I think the thing about it is, though, and I always make this point, it's like, what do you want the manager to say? No, I'm not just talking about Arteta now, like any manager. Like, what do you want them to say? You know, if you call them out too, you know, you're not going to call out all your players at that point, right? You're just not. You know, I just don't take press conferences too seriously. I actually find them a waste of time because the journalists can't get them to answer questions because they just don't want to.
But to be fair, right, he did say, "Oh, what I've done with my squad is simply incredible. Like, I've seen one injury from certain clubs that he obviously didn't name.
He meant Liverpool.
He said, "Oh, one injury, and I've seen clubs 17th, 8th." And it's almost like he doesn't trust his players. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those ones I just don't read much into press conferences and stuff because they don't say what they're really thinking. You know, it's Arteta a couple of weeks ago. You know, got a lot of heat in the media because he called out people. Right, he went mad about the performance of Liverpool, and he probably sort of gave himself away a little bit on what he was really sort of thinking rather than sort of saying what he's sort of supposed to say. It's why I don't read too much into it. I actually did a video about this tomorrow. Well, I can't remember what I said. I'm too tired. But it's out at 8:01 tomorrow. And it's out at 8:01 because I put it at 8:01 by mistake and I couldn't be asked to change it. Josh has gone to bed now.
There you go.
Hold on. Right, we're back. But yeah, that's that, man. That is the podcast done.
I feel drunk.
We've been going for long, man. 2.5 hours, people.
2.5 hours.
Yeah.
What's the time? Almost midnight already, people. Mad. Luca, shout your channel, mate. And by the way, Luca, you got lots of questions in the chat about your channel.
Yeah, Lila, can I ask you a question? Like? Can I ask you a question, Lila? You're from that
Let's see this.
You are, right? Lila, right? You're not disrespectful. It's great to see you in the chat and support.
Are you going to call her out, Luca? Or
Support
call
Josh.
them out?
I will call you out, right, for one thing. Right? You are a part of that retro channel, right? I've worked it out, right?
He's worked it out.
I've worked it out, and you are a part of that retro channel. I know exactly who you are, Lila, right?
Why? Is that a bad thing?
No, that's about it. That's my speech.
All right. So, what's she talking about? You leaving YouTube or something?
Well, for me, right? I'm taking a break with live streams. I decided to take a bit of a break. There's not really any other excuse why. It was just an opinion where I just wanted to take a break from it, really.
Okay, fair enough. Man.
I think we all know why.
So therefore, I decided to do pre-records and vlogs.
So you are uploading that?
Yeah, but I still doing match reactions and that, but obviously like not as live streams and that.
Oh.
I'll decide when I'll come back. But yeah, mate, Lila, I did not go live at 2 a.m. That is a load of rubbish, in my opinion.
Okay.
Right.
Apparently, she found your channel at 2 a.m. and you angry with the viewers for not sharing to wake up my friends. That was welcome to.
I did not go live at 2 a.m. I was in bed.
In fairness, you're live now from bed, so it is a possibility.
But yeah, subscribe to the channel, Luca Talks Ball. Make sure you turn the notifications on if you want, and it can be done. But that's my channel. Thanks for having me on, Josh. Been good.
You're welcome, mate. You're welcome. This Lila really likes you, Luca, mate. She's everywhere in your chat, ain't she, bro?
Boxing stream? No. I didn't do a boxing stream. You're wrong. It was a wrestling stream.
Oh, WWE, weren't it?
It's a wrestling stream.
The boxing stream. She keeps.
Oh,
saying.
sorry. On about the backlash one. Yeah, I did go live till 3 a.m.
There we go.
I apologise. I thought you were about something else. I thought you were about boxing, like misfits.
Yeah, there we go, man. But big up to you, Luca, mate.
No worries. Thanks for coming. Thanks for letting me come on, bro. It's always been great.
And yeah, hopefully you don't quit YouTube as well.
We'll see what happens.
All right, mate. Dom, mate. Cooking with the shorts as always, bro. I've been seeing every month. Not every month.
Big up, bro, man. Big up.
Every day about 8 a.m, ain't it? You
Yeah,
upload one.
somewhere about that. Yeah. Yeah, I thought you meant because I'm wearing shorts tonight. I thought you'd see my legs.
That's mad.
I'm still a full kit wanker right now. I haven't had a chance to take my shin pads off. Oh dear me. Yeah, I was just talking about the one. I've got one.
Big up, Lila, man. You're a real one.
You just spent like 5 minutes calling her out.
because majority she keeps because she's backing up that retro gamer, right?
Look, in fairness,
what's retro gamer anyway?
In fairness to Lila, her and Arnold, you know, they're like that. I still can't believe you three fell for that, by the way.
I still can't believe that. What minute was that? Was that 130 something?
Oh, God knows. It was hours ago.
Oh, it was hours ago. Yeah, it was hours ago, man.
Oh, dear me. Yeah, I've got a video out tomorrow on just talking. Actually, funny enough, what Luke was talking about just now, sort of post-match comments from Arteta. I didn't get home from packing up the junior football tournament until 10 p.m. last night-ish. Quarter to 10, I think I walked in the door. So I hadn't watched the game or anything. So I'm a bit late coming to it. But that's tomorrow's video. And at some point tomorrow, I will have an idea for the next one. Because I basically have an idea, pick up my phone, record it, and upload it. That's how it rolls.
There we go.
So God knows what it's going to be.
Fair play, mate.
I might do one on Arnold.
What?
Yes, Luca. Arnold Slot.
Arnold Slot, yes.
Yeah. Rory, bro, have you got any content coming up?
Not really. And I just want to confirm, by the way, right? People who have read the post, I've been reactions of no, don't quit YouTube. I'm not quitting YouTube, okay? I'm not quitting YouTube before you lot go in. I'm not quitting YouTube. I just need to obviously take a break from it.
That's the same as me. That's the same as me.
Fair enough, man.
Does that mean they got to put up with me and you, Josh? Because I know which one I'm choosing out of the two of us, and it's definitely not me.
But yeah, no content as far as I'm concerned. I'm just enjoying life in it, and because I've got GCSE and
yeah, man,
my course was actually to focus on. So see what happens in it. That's pretty much where my mind is at the moment.
Lila, can I ask you a question?
Here we go again.
Lila, why don't you get on this YouTube channel right now? Right, and if that is actually your face on Lila,
what should I drop the link to her, Luca?
Drop the link and come on.
All right, shall I do it now, Luca? Yeah, let's see if she comes on.
Do it. I'm awake.
He's awake.
You might be. The rest of us are barely awake.
He's awake. He says.
I'm awake.
Luca, don't get scared if she comes on, mate, and cooks you.
Lila,
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with you. Lila, I don't have a problem with you. Right. The reason why I said right that I thought you were backing retro because obviously you know when that time when Mel was on that retro channel, right? And Mel, don't get me wrong, you're my friend. I'm not obviously trying to cuss you out, but majority, if you are listening to this or not, right? You were on Retro's channel, and I did see Lila in the comments. But Lila, why don't you not come on, man?
Because it's 10 to bloody midnight.
Come on, Lila.
We could be here for 5 hours for crying out loud.
Or we can do it another day.
Oh my god, Luca talks ball.
Yeah, 10 minutes until bloody tomorrow, Luca, for crying out loud.
Oh, she's in bed, Luca, mate. She's
No
in
worries.
bed.
That's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. I respect that as a compliment.
It's a
Oh, dear me.
compliment.
Well, that was rather soft ending, wasn't it?
Luca, you call out everyone, mate. I swear, bro.
It's class. It's class as that.
Anyway, Lila, thanks for supporting Josh's channel and everyone else, of course, that
Thank you,
supports
everyone.
Josh.
Thank you. Big up.
Yeah.
Great stream, man.
100%, man. Yeah, brilliant stream. Thank you guys so much. I think we hit 10.6.
Congratulations. bro.
Yeah, thank you, man. I think we hit 10. So we're literally, if I can do maths, if Don can help me with the maths right now, if we're on 10.6, how's that to 11k? 400, right?
Yeah.
There we go. Thank you, man. 400. There we go, guys. 400 subs away from 11k. So thank you
To
guys
be
so
fair, I
much.
didn't need to be Rachel Riley for that one.
Luca, Lila just said she'll upload a YouTube short if you want proof.
Well, it's up to you. It's up to you, Lila. Look, Lila, I don't have a problem with you, right? Majority. Like, the problem is, right? Let's see what you want to say about me tomorrow, because mate, if you want to say something about me, that's cool, right? I'm not going to stop you from doing what you're doing, yeah. But Lila, I do not have a
I
problem
haven't even
with
seen
you.
her make a negative comment. Sorry.
But you hate retro, yeah? Okay, fair enough. Thank you very much for defending me. I'd always got your back. Cheers.
You've always got a back, but you fucking. Oh my.
Carry
God,
on.
Luca.
Let's let Josh finish his channel.
Oh my days, Luca.
I genuinely can't find a negative comment for her. I'm scrolling.
I know, right?
Yeah, Luca, man, you're picking on no one for no reason now.
It can be done.
It can be done.
The question is why? I'm really hoping that was interference and not just you farting, mate.
What?
Yeah, Luca, man, Luca.
That
What
was
the
up.
hell?
What?
Luca, why'd you do that, man, on stream? Come on. Anyway, people, we're out of here. We've been going for 2 hours and 40 minutes. Big up
Up
everyone.
the liner, F, real one. absolute real
Let me
one.
quickly check if my brother Liam's live by and view, because I think he's in the chat a few times. So I'll try and read. If I can redirect, I try and do that if he's still live, man. I doubt it though, because it's flipping
10 to midnight.
Yeah. Is he still live? Yeah, he actually is.
Liner, that's a good pick.
All right, I'm gonna redirect to Liam. So go into there, guys. It'll take you right to Liam's channel. Just put TG raid or whatever, and then just put TG sent us or whatever, something like that. We're out of here, people. Big up everyone, and
Big up
yeah,
to
as
Liner,
always.
you're a real one. And you're not.
Let him finish. Let him do his outro.
Let me do the outro, Luca. Oh, you check out Lyle. It's Lila one, man. Big up to Lyle. I can't even get my words out now. I'm fucked. Big up to Lyle. Yeah, do you know what?